Welcome to episode 70 of the current Backloggers. The date is June 16th. I am your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co-host, Cody G. Cody, how's it going?
Good. We had to start the podcast late tonight because your brother Nick's like, "Oh, I have to go to bed because I'm an old man." And our game was lasting really long, so I was texting like, "Bro, we got to hold off a second." It's feeling good. And this was our last game of the season. New season starts 30 minutes. And it was a W. We won. It was a beautiful finish. It was a finish I never had before, too. It was at the military air base thing. And I used the Swiss, which is this like bolt action rifle. It's like boom, blowing this guy's brains all over. Boom, boom. It was like a fucking movie. Your brother went down. He's screaming. Derek's picking him up. While he's picking him up, the guy's like, "Oh, we're gonna push." I said, "No, you're not." And just bam, bam. Oh, it felt good. The whole ride over here, I was smiling. Fuck yes, we won. Ka-ching. Helicopter comes in, and it was a great way to finish the season. Your brother went to bed and felt good. It's your brother's third win in a row. Like he's had the last 3 days he's won. So, and I don't win often. It's very rare. I think I've won 3 times in the entire event of the game, so it felt good. We were cracking jokes about how I was like, "Yeah, I gotta get over there because in case I push one more time, he's gotta go to bed." And he's like, "Oh yeah, he already hates Warzone enough, so don't leave him hanging." So I got over here real quick. What else has been going on? Oh, a dog came over to my house today that we were thinking about adopting. See how it worked, how it goes. Dog's super sweet. My dog's just really confused by it and acts extra special. 1 minute's fine, the next minute's like, "Why does he touch my stuff?" And she did. I don't know. I think dogs are weird when you raise them by themselves. They don't know how to share shit. So we're still thinking about if we want to take this dog or not, but really nice dog. So I might have a dog next time we talk. Another dog.
Like how you said it came over, like it just happened to be in the neighborhood.
Yeah, drove over. The owner drove it over. It's kind of weird. The owner's like, "No, sit in my car." And you just walk it and take it inside. And it's weird. So we did that. And super nice dog, though. Really cute.
How much German Shepherd is in this thing?
I don't know. My dog supposedly has the DNA thinks is like 40%, and people told me 50%, and I don't see it. This dog looks a little bit more German Shepherd, but can't really tell. I don't know. The mutt. Both my dogs are mutts. No idea.
That's a shame.
I know, man. Maybe we should have got some Chiweenie and or something in there, a little retardation. The little guy up there.
I mean, I'd be down for that.
I like how he came. You had to take when I came through the house. You had to take the dog outside, Buckeye out. I like how that he comes back in and you could tell something definitely changed. So he starts immediately running through the house.
I don't know how I even shut the door. I don't know how the hell he knew that.
I heard. I was like, "Damn, he's pissed."
Because he doesn't bark at me when I do that when he's alone. I can pick him up, put him out there. So he definitely knew it was because of you.
He could smell me. Smells me. But yeah. Besides that, that's about it, man. What about you?
Not really anything. We did E3, obviously, which we'll talk about. And then today I went back to work, but that was my first day of work. But besides that, I don't think there was anything except E3.
Yeah, I think I've been over your house every day for a week straight. Some form or fashion.
The last person that used to do that stopped showing up, so hopefully you're not the next.
Is that Cabal?
Yeah.
I might go hang out with Abigail's father.
Just her father, not even her.
Yeah, I think so. He seems like a good guy. I can already tell the episode 69 seems to be getting people seem to like the party poppers. Got some compliments on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was just James, but James liked it.
Make it a weekly thing.
I don't think I could afford that, but that'd be fun as shit. Yeah. We got them for free. Hell yeah.
We could just edit in that clip every time Nat like it's brand new, especially if people listen to podcast.
Let's do it right here, right now. Welcome back.
So, should we get into E3 then?
Let's do it.
All right. I was trying to keep track of the shots and our predictions. I kept up the decent amount, but before I actually tally it up, I'm going to maybe do it next week so I can make sure I get it correct so I don't screw one of your guys' guesses over. And so we'll look back at the how many shots there was and whose predictions were right and wrong next week, hopefully. And then before we get into E3, I'm finally going to do another stream June 25th, which is a Friday, starting at 10 a.m. And we'll see, because I said this multiple times, but hopefully get a few in there since I'm so behind on it and do a few within the next month to make up for all the time I've missed. But we can get into E3 day one and start with Ubisoft.
There was a couple things before Ubisoft. Guerrilla Collective and Wholesome Direct. I think it was called Wholesome Direct. I think this is the first E3 where there's a lot of conferences I don't think they were needed. I feel like they could have snuck in with some other people's, or I don't know if it's because of COVID or people felt like they needed to be there. He was trying to pad some scheduling out. I feel like everything could have been condensed, and this could have been a couple days.
Yeah. I was going to talk more about the overall show as well. I think it definitely was this was the E3 that there's most filler and press conferences not only that you didn't care about or maybe like more interested in, but I think just were completely unnecessary. And I think it's either because E3 needed filler or because maybe the price is so much cheaper than before that these companies are, oh shit, let's get in on this because E3 is never this cheap. I think it's probably one of those two. I think probably the first one's more likely. And I remember when we talked about when we saw some of these smaller companies were there, we were joking about it. And I think those companies are always there but doesn't stand out because it's not completely relying on streaming. I feel like those are the kind of companies that just have a booth there that you don't hear anything about. So I feel like it stood out so much more because instead of just something that's on the show floor mixed in with hundreds of other companies, it was set up like a press conference like it would be Sony or something. So I think it stood out a lot more for us since that's all we had to look at.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. There's no event, so most people can't say what they have.
Yeah.
Show what they have. So the first any sort of thing with substance was, well, you had the Netflix thing that's not part of it, or the summer game thing that wasn't part of it, but specifically E3 was Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we could start with like some of the smaller stuff. Or did you want to?
It's up to you. I kind of, instead of just running through each of them, because I know you don't usually like doing like just a recap of every game and trying to act like we know about them, I just kind of highlighted the things that stood out for me or the huge announcements that even if I don't care about, I know they're like top tier announcements. So it's up to you if you want to do the same or if you would like to go through them one by one, we could.
Okay, I'll start off with probably one I didn't expect was Rocksmith Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend that had bought this. He was super into Guitar Hero, and he bought this and was pretty certain he was going to learn how to play guitar. And I don't know, I think it just collected dust, but they brought that back, oddly enough, because I feel like rhythm games are dead. Seemed weirdly placed, and they didn't even seem to mention the previous Rocksmith.
Yeah, I was always curious about that, and I know the point of it is to learn guitar. It seemed to me like the two people that I knew play it most, James actually still plays it now, and then my friend Aaron used to play it all the time, but both of them already know guitar, so they say it helped them learn techniques and stuff. So I believe that, but it was supposed to also teach people who knew nothing about guitar, and maybe it would. Maybe the issue is they are like over the hurdle of the most frustrating parts. So maybe that's why you don't hear the people that don't know guitar and just like, yeah, it didn't work for me. mean, it's just such a hurdle because you don't know the basic fundamentals of guitar.
Um, Rainbow Six Extraction
hmm
looks cool, man.
Yeah, I've played a couple of Rainbow Sixes on and off. I talked about playing Siege multiple times. I never got into that, but yeah, this one looks super interesting.
Yeah, I just I feel like that. Speaking of hurdles, seems a little too simmy. Seems way too late to play Rainbow Six. I watched a few streamers play it, and even the lingo goes way over my head. Right window, bathroom, and they're just like setting up barricades, and even the callouts I just did, bathroom and right window stuff, that was still way too vague for the shit they call. That makes no sense. So I don't think that was anything I'd ever play, but this is PvE and cool premise.
Yeah, I still would be curious to try Siege. I think definitely the players that play it all the time we would have no chance against. But I feel like it's kind of like Warzone. I feel like when you guys play and I don't know any of these terms or like the layout loadouts or anything like that, I'm obviously not going to compete against the top people. But when I go against people similar to me, I have a chance. So I think if we weren't facing like the top people in Rainbow Six, we'd have a chance, and maybe it wouldn't be as fun as those people. But I think we could have our own kind of fun with it. But yeah, Rainbow Six Extraction announced September 16th for that.
Um, I don't know if I want to talk about this one or not, because I couldn't. It looks interesting, and that's a Riders Republic.
hmm
I don't know. I want to see it in action. I don't think I've heard about it, but I feel like I've been hearing about this for years.
They did show it last year, I know, at the end of Ubisoft, and we thought it looked cool. I think that was the first time they showed it, though.
Um, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Kind of looks like Fortnite mixed with Steep. I know you talk about if the servers are dead. That
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be the thing.
Yeah, it seemed like a cool concept, but definitely seems like something that's either going to blow up or completely fail. And that game seemed like it's reliant on like the craziness and having everybody around you. I think more than likely the fail is the outcome there, unfortunately.
And then we get to shit that we see every year, which is fucking Just Dance. I've never. Oh, it started playing. Yeah, thank you. I don't think I could care less about that game. And then there's an expansion for Assassin's Creed, The Siege of Paris. That seems like a pretty interesting time period, but I don't know, man. I haven't cared about an Assassin's Creed game in a while. Seem to have deviated from any sort of storyline and huge time sinks, and I don't know. This one looks good though. Valhalla seems to be a good one to jump into.
Yeah, I know it reviewed really well. That's one of the ones that seems least interesting to me, especially with how massive it is. It's the bigger it gets, less likely I am to play them, and more overwhelming they are. And that's usually the route they keep going farther and farther down. I'm sad, as I know you are, with E3 and even stuff like Just Dance that has nothing for us. Usually in these years, those are some of the best moments because you get the dance number that goes with it or something.
Yeah.
But just sucked all around this year with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we still had our dance numbers, didn't we?
Wasn't just digital, like in the, did they show any actual?
Let me turn it down and go back. I think there was like some pre-recorded shit they did. They did the interview with that guy. Danielle seems to know. Maybe that's all they did was just
Oh yeah, I think
interview
that.
with him.
Yeah, I think it's just that and like like the actual choreographed stuff behind it, but not like a whole fucking dance number like they do with the usually some kind of panda bear and girls dressed in ridiculous outfits, and it's a fucking great time.
I don't think so. Far Cry 6. Got a new trailer for that. I mean, just adding to it, Ubisoft seems to just doing a lot of the same shit over again. I do like the villain in this. I feel like their villains are always well done. Listening to an interview with him as well, where the guy was like, "So, I mean, you play villains so well," and then he like broke into Far Cry character and was like, I'm not a villain. And like started playing his Far Cry character and the Castro Fidel premise behind his character. But I think he'd be very good because of him. But those games are also very samey, which is I'm looking through here, and I think besides the big one that you were the most excited about, and Fortnite, snowboarding, what is it? Riders or something. I don't think they've really done anything different. Anything new besides those two. Then we had Mario's and Rabbids 2, Sparks of Hope. I haven't played the first one. One that's been on my radar for a minute.
Yeah, I played it. I haven't played enough of it. I liked what I was playing. I'm kind of shocked that they did a sequel. I almost put, for our shots, I almost put Rabbids on there because we have it every year. But I was like, there's not going to be Mario vs. Rabbids or Mario plus Rabbids. And then it came back and I was there's no fucking way. And they said Rabbids like 45 times after that.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm surprised, but I think it's cool they're doing another one.
So, I don't know. The developer said big ambitions. So I don't know if they're changing mechanics around or same shit, which I don't mind. I mean, those games are incredibly successful. I thought Mario vs. Rabbids would be even bigger than what it was, just because I know people that play those style of games love them, and Mario is such a huge call. Rabbids even has its own fans, so I don't know. I'm kind of shocked. I know Peter bought that game for like $20 or something, $10. He bought a couple copies, and I keep meaning to grab a copy off of him for that same price. Give it a go.
Yeah, I hope they do work the mechanics some. It did sound like they were going to base off of what they were talking about, and I'd be okay with that. I said I liked what I played, but it seemed a little, I wouldn't call it turn-based, but it seems a little too turn-basedy for me. And from what they were showing and talking about, they didn't say it outright, but it kind of seemed like it was more gameplay, or fighting while you're playing the game, which I would be. I think more my play style.
See, I feel the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. I like that chess style, that or checkers, where you have time to plan shit out and move guys around. And I feel like those games are there's maybe like 2 or 3 big titles that do that.
I know people do like that concept, and I think I'm probably in the minority on it being a little too slow paced like that. So maybe they aren't reworking that. Just kind of seemed like it based off what they were saying while they were showing it, but they might not have shown it that well.
All right. Guess besides that, I don't really remember anything too crazy besides probably the biggest thing, which was Avatar: Frontiers of Pandoria. It looks good. It looks interesting. I don't understand the mechanics of it. Is it just another story-driven thing? You don't have... I don't know. I kind of got the vibes the way that the human base looked. Almost like a strategy game, like a base building thing. And it would be an action game where you go out and fight like you normally would, but I don't know. I didn't really see much of a story thing there. I don't know what story they could do. It's a multiplayer thing. I don't know. I want to see more of it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell much from the trailer. I thought it was a really well done trailer, and I love Avatar, so I'm biased, and I think the world is perfect for video games. I think the one attempt they had at it wasn't bad, but I think could have been much better. And that seems like exactly what this is. It seems way more ambitious and putting a big team behind it and giving it a lot of room to breathe and not rushing it out based on release, which I think they're definitely trying to time it with Avatar 2, but that seems to be fluctuating at any moment anyway, so it doesn't seem like much of a hard set date that they have to get the game out by. It said they'll be launched in 2022 on pretty much fucking everything, even Google Stadia and Amazon Luna they announced. And I didn't know this till I was looking up more because the games I was really interested in. I tried to look up more after the press conferences, and they said on this one that it's a single-player open-world game, and that's first person. which I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought they wanted you to see the Navis. But if you look at the trailer, there is a point where the character's using a bow and arrow, and you just see the hands in the bow and arrow. So you actually see, I think, a glimpse of gameplay, or at least what gameplay is supposed to look like. And I'm not the biggest open world fan. I think it's super overdone. That doesn't mean that there isn't good ones. I think it just needs to make sense. I think Avatar in the world of Pandora is fucking perfect for open world game, as long as it's not like a lot of open world games where it's just filled with terrible side missions and pointless environments. But if they do it right, I think it could be really cool.
Cool if they have 2 stories too. Like you play as the humans and then
Yeah.
Navi. I just sold a bunch of, like 5 or 6 action figures from Avatar on eBay.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, dude. There's a whole they've held their value, man. Shit's collectible as hell. And that movie's not even that old for it to be that crazy. So I know the fan base is pretty rabid. But I think the game will do well because it seems like, judging by what I see online or eBay trends, I was surprised at how expensive the action figures have gotten. I don't think they're that well made. So I think this could be successful just because people want anything sort of Avatar. People that aren't that into video games would probably consider it.
Yeah, I think it obviously helps that it has James Cameron. I feel like he has his own fan base and like fucking cult following. But then you can see it anytime they mention Avatar. Like I said, people just fucking flock to and believe everything they say about the next release date. As soon as I know it's actually coming out, I'll be right there with them. But I believe this far too many times. So, like I said, I can't be excited until it happens. But I think having Massive behind the game is definitely a good sign. And we haven't seen much from the game, but definitely excited me.
All right, we'll move on to Devolver was next. Correct?
Yeah, there was one more thing in Ubisoft I was going to talk about. It was the Werewolves Within movie trailer. And
yeah.
Release date June 25th in theaters and streaming. I can't believe this movie's coming out in the theaters. And I told you, they said it was based off a Ubisoft game, which of course it would be because the Ubisoft press conference. But I've never heard of this game. How do you?
No, I don't think so. I keep thinking of that Telltale game.
Oh my god, I'm going to say Among Us. See, I told you that game would ruin that. The Wolf Among Us.
Wolf Among Us, yeah. But this game does not seem familiar to me at all.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's based off a 2016 multiplayer VR game. So it seems like the weirdest property for Ubisoft.
Oh, yeah, wasn't it? It's on PSVR, right?
I don't know.
There's a Wolf game on PSVR.
It might be that.
Don't you own it?
No, I don't own that.
I thought I saw it for sale at Family Video, and you were like, I already have that. Because I have 2 copies of it somehow.
I feel like this is such a weird property for Ubisoft to do with all the ones they have. I don't really get why it would be this. I know a lot of people are making fun of it. I don't know if you saw, they said it's supposed to be like satire, like a horror movie or like a comedy movie, so that explains why it looked kind of cheesy. So it's exciting. It's weird, but exciting seeing Ubisoft get into movies, so I'll give it a chance, especially coming to the theater, see what it's like. It might be shit, but it'd be fun to check out.
I can't find anything on. I swear there's some sort of game. I'll go home and look because I don't have many VR games. Oh yeah, Werewolves Within. Here it is. Let's see, Werewolves. Werewolves Within. Fucker. Werewolves Within. This game. You remember that cover?
It looks familiar. That's not what I would have thought at all from the trailer, and I know it's from Ubisoft.
Pretty sure I have a copy of this. Let me see here. If not, it was one of those games that was just overly produced. Like I saw it at Myers a bunch on sale. If I own it. I do not own it, so I'm not sure which game I was thinking of that I bought at Family Video. But yeah, now that I know, now I see this, yeah, now I'm aware of it. I'm a werewolf of it. What? That was horrendous. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was be a serious title. The trailer looks terrible though, man. Like a student film. The lighting's weird. Feels like it was all shot in the same stage, whatever they call those things. I don't know how that'd be in theaters.
Yeah.
Did not look like it looked like a YouTube video. Like a really well done YouTube video. I guess I'll watch it. I mean, as long as it's on a free streaming service. Give it a try.
It might be a mistake, but I'm down to see it in the theaters to see a Ubisoft movie and support it, and hopefully get better Ubisoft properties from it than Werewolf Within, I think it was. That tells you how great of a property it is. But like I said, Mythic Quest I think is really good, and I think it makes a lot of sense for Ubisoft. That's why I think it's such a weird product, but we'll see how it does.
The game's not even reviewed well. It's like a 6 out of 10. I don't know why they would make this.
Yeah, my only thought, and it doesn't make sense, but at first I was like, well, that's probably really cheap property. But I was like, well, they're producing it, so it's their own property. So I don't think it would cost any more to get Splinter Cell or Rainbow Six or anything.
You can also buy it on eBay for $5. Yeah, it was just awkward. I don't know how to feel about any of that. Let me see. Let me get back to where I was on this shit.
We're at Devolver. If you want to get into that, that's all I had for Ubisoft.
Let me pull back up Devolver though, because I was searching about fucking PSVR game. Devolver. News. I think Devolver is easily my favorite E3 press conference. It feels like something you see Adult Swim do. I mean, their games are usually, obviously, indie looking, but I still think they have the most original ideas. Like the market is plagued with that same type of indie games.
Yeah.
But Devolver, as a publisher, seems to filter through most of that and pull out some very original ideas. And their E3 press conferences are parodies of E3. Notice this year was not technically part of E3. I don't know if that's something they always do. I always felt like it was. The only thing that really stuck out to me was this game called Trek to Yami. It was that black and white Japanese samurai-looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of that PS4 game that just recently came out.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that one. Pretty generic premise behind it. Just a really cool design. I just recommend go check out the trailer to get like a better feel of that.
Looks a lot like Limbo.
Yeah, and then Wizard with a Gun, which is a co-op sandbox survival game. And there's just so many. There's Devolver Tumble Time, which is like a parody mobile game. Not out yet, but I'm sure that's hilarious. I know South Park did one of those too, like Phone Destroyer, I think it was called. There was a title that came out where you had to buy the physical. It's impossible to buy unless you buy the physical, which is, I feel like Devolver is some billionaire's brainchild where he just wants to fuck with the industry, and they do the exact opposite you think you would do if you're trying to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the name of it real quick. Hold on. But yeah, you had to go and pre-order the physical copy because it will not be available digitally. This is annoying. I just had the article up about it. So we're typing in physical. Devolver. Digital E3. Physical. Here it is. The game is called Accept Cookies, just go away. This is from Nintendo Life. It's called, well, it's Demon Throttle. Is that it?
I think so.
Was that the one? The one I was literally just mentioning? Yeah. Exclusively through. Yeah. That's kind of odd. I didn't know it was that game. I feel like with that being a multiplayer game, you'd want as many people as you possibly could, as you can, to get on there. I don't know. I think it's a very original idea. I don't know how long they'll stick with that. It doesn't seem very viable, but I feel like something if you back out of and say, well, it's available digitally. You could catch some heat for that.
Wasn't Wizard with a Gun the one you were saying was multiplayer? Or was that?
No.
Oh.
It's possible. I don't
So I
fucking
didn't think
know.
you mentioned Demon Throttle yet before that.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought let me go look up digital. No, Wizard with a Gun is a co-op survival sandbox. Do you remember me saying that?
Yeah.
It was Wizard with a Gun, wasn't it?
That's what I thought.
Demon. Okay, that makes more sense. So Demon Throttle must be the single player. Sorry, I'm a little retarded tonight. I guess I don't know. Yeah, but you get that over at Special Reserve Games. The pre-order's open for a long time on that, so not a huge rush, but something if you want to get, you probably should go ahead and get it. Going to Nintendo Switch exclusive and completely physical only release. Yep, this is it. All right. So the next one.
Was that it for Devolver?
Yeah, that was all I had for Devolver.
Yeah, I didn't have anything for them. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of indie games. Not indie games in general, but like you said, it seems to be, instead of a idea of games, it just seems to be one branch of games and one attitude of games. I won't shut up about what remains of Edith Fincher's indie games I like. I just feel like the whole attitude of indie games is a more annoying thing, and that they should be the most unique, but a lot of times they just do the same things over and over, somehow more than AAA games. I do think Devolver does some different things, and I think their press conferences are always entertaining. The thing that I thought was odd this year is that usually there is a few games that stick out in their press conference because I do think they do different stuff. A lot of times I don't end up playing them. I'm just like, oh, that looks different and interesting. There wasn't many things that I thought looked terrible, but there's nothing that I put on here that stuck out to me, which is odd because I feel like there's always at least a few in there that stick out to me. I don't remember anything sticking out in this press conference for them.
Yeah, I'd be okay with them rebooting their storyline too, and doing something else besides the stereotypical, or not stereotypical, their parody story they've done for the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is Gearbox, which I guess kind of started at the summer of gaming, with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. They continued that with a closer look, which is a Borderlands spin-off. Looks good. I think it's something that Borderlands needs. A revamp to their games. I honestly thought they'd take a longer break than what they have with Borderlands. Surprised they already jumped back into another one.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think doing something different is interesting. I think the world is really unique and different, even though they're obviously borrowing from a lot of things. It's not brand new, but I think what they've created feels new, even though they're borrowing from a lot of stuff. They announced it's coming out in early 2022. The crazy thing is the cast: Andy Samberg, Ashley Birch, Wanda Sykes, Will Arnett are the people they've announced so far, which sounds like it's a Borderlands movie, which is also coming out, but somehow they're all in a spin-off Borderlands game. And I feel like the main Borderlands games don't have any known actors. They have good voice actors like people are known in the video game industry, but not outside of that. So it's kind of crazy seeing all those names pop up. They said it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons meets Borderlands, which I don't know what that means, but I like the world of Borderlands, so I'm interested to see what they do with it.
I think it's just Dungeons and Dragons, just because this chick had a game in the game that was a knockoff of Dungeons and Dragons. So it sounds like Tiny Tina is going to be the DM or GM, and she will narrate and make up the story as you go along. And it's like a dungeon crawler. I think that's where the Dungeons and Dragons aspect comes from.
Yeah, that's would be very different than Borderlands because it's obviously a first-person shooter normally. So that'd be interesting to see in a different gameplay.
Oh no, it'd still be FPS.
Oh, would.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Well, you said dungeon crawler. Usually that's like the over the top view, like
Oh no, it's in a dungeon.
oh, okay.
Dungeons and Dragons. You like walk through this predetermined area. That makes sense.
Yeah, hopefully that wouldn't get too samey if that's all it is, but I think it's a cool idea.
Well then Randy Pitchford kicked off Gearbox E3 showcase with a behind the scenes look at Borderlands movie. This weirdly, I don't know how you felt about it. It's kind of awkward interview with Kevin Hart. That I really didn't get too much out of.
It was awkward. It did actually give me more hope for the movie because I was just kind of been a running joke, especially on here. I've always been hopeful for it, but I think a lot of their casting choices have been weird, and I think a Borderlands movie in general seems like an odd choice. But the only reason it got me more excited is that this seems like Randy Pitchford's little kid, Borderlands does. It's the fact that he was so excited about it and on set. I don't know how long he's on set, but he was on set that whole time there. Gives me more hope that it's not just like some company trying to bank off a big name right now.
Yep, and besides those things, then Homeworld 3 is in production. Tribes of Midgard developer commentary, and Godfall coming to PS4. That was just about it.
Yeah.
Fire in Darkness DLC announced for it. So I mean, it's kind of a shorter one, and was the first one where I was like, the pacing felt off, or wasn't enough information, or which just seemed to continue as the E3 went on. And then so we're still on the 12th. Did you want to talk about GamesBeat?
That was one that I didn't put anything because there was so many press conferences where I felt like we didn't realize there were even press conferences, or I'll get into it later, but I think there's some times where they literally just didn't host the things they were supposed to. Like we kept trying to look for it and the things weren't there. But yeah, this one I don't remember anything from, so we can skip over that unless you got anything.
No, nope. Then the Upload VR.
Yep.
Pull this article up here real quick.
Yeah, I think Upload VR is one that they started doing recently. I think it's been on for a while, but I think the first time I noticed it was E3 last year, or E3 last year. And they obviously are a way smaller production, and it's pretty awkward when two people sitting there. But I think it's, as far as showing off games, I think it does it better than a lot of the regular press conferences. They show a lot of games, and I think a lot of them usually excite me. Maybe it's because VR is so different in general that if these games were regular games, it would feel the same as these other ones.
Yeah. The Traffic Jams, that game where you are a person called controlling traffic or whatever.
Yeah.
That one looks pretty interesting. As well as coming on PSVR. They finally gave a date for that, which is August 26th. Besides the release date, it still looks like the same old thing, but still looks enjoyable and ridiculous.
Yeah, they've shown this game before, but I think it's a funny idea. It's kind of like Overcooked or something like that, where the base premise sounds really boring, but you're kind of trying to do the opposite of that, like messing up traffic and creating mayhem, not just literally directing traffic.
Yeah.
And I think those games work really well in VR.
Then Sam and Max, which is a old PC games, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played any of them.
Yeah, point and click adventure.
But yeah, so it looks like, I don't know when's the last time one of those came out, but new one's coming out for VR, and they showed some gameplay for that. Into Hoops is a hoop shooter. Only reason I'd probably, it looks interesting. It'd be cool if they had a whole arcade like that where you go around and play all the games, be that in depth. I feel like something that you would like. You seem to enjoy those basketball games.
Yeah, I am way too good at those because I'm fucking terrible at real basketball, but for some reason I'm really good at those. So I would like it, but I feel like, especially having PSVR, it would be more frustrating than fun because you would know that shot would go in real life. So it'd be fun, something fun to mess around with for a few minutes. But yeah, I think your idea would be better. I think Carnival Games tries to do that, but doesn't have the budget or the, I think really the care to do it. They're making a shit ton of money, so I don't think they want to put much effort into it.
There's a game called Rhythm of the Universe, Iona. Did you see that?
Saw it. I don't remember that one.
Um, I guess the only reason I would care if this is any other game besides VR, I probably wouldn't care. But it's a new VR fantasy title, and it's coming to all of them. But it just seems interesting to have like an actual narrative or not some sort of weird gimmick behind a game.
Mm-hmm.
And 5% of the revenue of the title will also go to Steve and Terry Irwin's Wildlife Warriors charity, which is the kids of Steve Irwin.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Well, I mean, that's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
That's weird. Trying to go through all of these. There was that Unplugged.
Yeah.
It was weird. So it's like two rhythm-esque games that are not really rhythm games, more learning.
Yeah, this is one that uses Oculus and uses finger tracking, so you don't have controllers, and let's just move down the imaginary, what do you call it? Fret? Oh, I'm fucking blanking.
I think it's a fret, right?
No, I feel like that's not right. But you do that. I think it's a cool idea. I think finger tracking is so new, and people say it's definitely going to work in the future, but I think it's more of a gimmick right now. So I think a game like that that's so dependent on hitting the exact right key would be way more frustrating than fun. I feel like that's a cool idea. Maybe in 4 years or something would actually be practical.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm doing something like that. I want to have something in my hand as well. And then Nerf Ultimate Championship World Premiere. I feel like the last Nerf gun game was on the Wii.
Seems like it would be
It was
fitting.
the Wii. But I think Nerf is perfect for video games. You get those kids that parents are like, oh, you can't play games with guns in them. But Nerf games are perfect.
Talking about Unplugged for a second. You know, it'd be a really good mixture once finger tracking is actually all the way there.
Masturbating. Porn VR.
Would be Rocksmith and called Unplugged, and you could hold a guitar and that could actually sense where your fingers are. So it'd be like 1-to-1 direct feedback. You wouldn't have to wait to like hit a button or the strum to happen.
They need to get together.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something. Just going through all these and just trying to. I just don't know, man. Some of these VR games they look interesting, and then I guess we'll just go to. They topped it off. I know this part stuck out to you, and definitely did to me too, because they're like, now pushing the power and limits of VR. So we're like, oh shit, it's about to get nutty up in here. And then they cut to this Minecraft-looking game, which is a Township Tale. It's an open-world VR RPG, which I mean is exciting because once again a full-storied game, like Half-Life Alexa or something like that previous fantasy game that I had mentioned. That 5% for some reason goes to the Irwin's Foundation. It looks interesting though. I think they really made it seem like it was about to be something way crazier than it was. But I did like the way it looked, and this type of game I think would be perfect for VR.
Yeah, and I don't think it was like a playful, ironic thing. I think they really thought they were pushing it. I think that would have been kind of funny if they were like playing it up because they knew the art style was kind of kiddish, but I think they were dead serious with what made it so funny. And yeah, I don't think the game, it actually doesn't look interesting to me at all, but I don't think it looks bad. I just think the way they hyped it up was weird, and I do want more full-fledged games. This didn't seem like that to me, though. I know you said open world RPG, but to me it kind of seemed like resource management, kind of like going around. It didn't seem like there was like a overarching story or campaign to it. I could be wrong. We saw a glimpse of it. Was that the last game you were going to talk about? There are a few others I had in here.
Yeah, that's all that stuck out to me.
One game that stuck out to me was Waltz of the Wizard, which is an awful name. It's remind me of a lot of the most well-known wizard thing, Harry Potter, which I think is fucking match made in heaven for VR. And I think it's weird we don't have that. I know PlayStation Move, there is a game called Sorcery that I think was underrated. I should have played more of it. It was fun. I think it was a good wizard game without having to pay them millions and millions of dollars to use a Harry Potter property because they were obviously trying to be Harry Potter. Because I think, especially the move controllers that they could be 1-to-1 and more accurate. Those were just literally like you're a fucking holding a wand, so it's perfect for it. But even VR, I think, is a good setting for it. I was excited for this, especially because it's coming to PSVR, which was another exciting thing about this press conference is that most of the games look cool, but majority of them usually don't come to PSVR. I feel like most of the time we saw in these ones are they're coming to PSVR, which was a nice change of pace. One of them I even noticed said PSVR, PS4, and then PSVR, PS5, which I haven't seen yet. To me, that's one of the reasons that some of these are actually going to come to the next PSVR, and we just didn't know that yet, and they could handle more games finally now. But I guess this game has been out on Steam since 2019. This is just an update that's coming July 6th. I'm not sure if it's also been on PSN that long. So I'm not sure. It might be a little dated now because VR games have advanced so much in this little time. And then the next one I had was Fract, which was it's a PSVR exclusive, which you don't see very often. This was one of those ones that was announced in that weird PSVR June event they had that we talked about in here. And I told you a lot of them. I was like, I don't really know. It's cool they're having this showcase, but I don't really know what these games are. And this was the one that kind of like a parkour first-person shooter where he was like jumping on the train and then jumped on top of it and then ran up and started shooting people. It looks really cool. I'm wondering how it'll actually play, if it'll play that smoothly or if it's going to be like the clunky. Because VR is just so dependent on how it's set up. Like if you do the teleporting thing, if you have free movement. So it looked cool, but we'll see when you can actually play the game, how it plays.
Man, kind of remember that Super Hot.
Yeah. I love me some Super Hot. And then the last one, this one I was shocked this coming to PSVR. We'll see if maybe this is a PS5 one. It was After the Fall, which looks like a total ripoff of Left 4 Dead, but in VR. But that sounds great to me. I know you said House of the Dead, which is another. I'd be fine with that. But it's 4-player co-op first-person shooter, so I feel like more keen to Left 4 Dead. I don't know if it's going to be the same style as far as like the wave-based get to the safe house. But I love zombies, and I think that's perfect for VR. That was the last one I had.
Yeah, I think VR could be a great way to preserve or re-release the old arcade gun shooters.
Yeah.
Gun shooters. That sound like a grandma. All right, so move on to Xbox then. The next one.
Yeah, this is going into day 2 of E3. That was day 1. The first one was 24 Entertainment Blade Point, but we completely skipped past that because I don't know what the hell that means.
I'm sure it was another Zoom call.
Yeah. But yeah, so next will be Xbox and Bethesda, which I still think it's weird that they call it that. I wonder if that's just going to be this year to point out they have Bethesda, or if that's just going to be all the time, because I feel like it kind of puts makes Bethesda more important than 343 or the Coalition or any of the teams Xbox owns, which maybe they are, but I feel like it's a weird way to do it. You don't hear PlayStation say like PlayStation and Naughty Dog.
I would definitely say they're the most important, though, developer-wise.
I would say they're the biggest. I think important, has to be 343 because Halo is the most important to Microsoft. But even then, I think it's weird to phrase it like that because I think Naughty Dog is probably most important to PlayStation. I think that'd be weird if they just started calling them that.
I say historically, Halo makes sense, but I think going forward, I don't think Halo's been that big of a thing since 2007.
Oh, I love Halo more than anyone. I've said every time, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, about how they need to get people back into Halo and make it a bigger thing. But I still think how important Halo is to Xbox. I think there's a reason they delayed it and why they're pushing it so much, because I think they know they need Halo still. But that's obviously entire branch of studios, so as far as money and properties, it's definitely a bigger thing.
All right, so we'll the only piece of hardware I think that was announced at E3 was the Xbox fridge.
Yeah.
I think they said Xbox and chill.
Yeah.
Did they say that?
Yeah, they didn't even actually show it at the conference, did they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they said it's coming this holiday is all they said. How much do you think it's going to be?
I have no idea. $150.
It's going to say $99.99 just because I feel like that's a good price point. But I'm wondering
Here's a clip of it. Clip that they showed us.
I don't remember seeing anything about it at E3.
Oh my god, it looks just like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks just like an Xbox.
I wondering how easy they're going to be. I know it said that they'll be available to everybody, but I can't imagine they're going to, unless they just have them online and you have to buy them. I can't imagine they're going to pay for the fucking retail space at all these stores for those things. And where would you put those? Do those go like Best Buy, or those in with the fridges or in with the games?
It felt like a very Razer move.
Yeah.
I get why. It's because they sent out that fridge to that one chick, and then everyone's like, I'd buy one of those. And I'm considering buying one of these fridges. Gonna be kind of crazy if you can find these fridges, but you can't find the console still.
Yeah.
So the next thing was Flight Simulator. They're adding in Top Gun. It's cool. I can't wait to get my hands on this. I think it'll be something that I might play a few times, but I don't expect myself playing this all the time or going in it. I think I'll fly over my house and New York City and shit like that, but I don't think I'll do it. I can't wait till I get home. I'm gonna fucking reenact 9/11 on a fucking Flight Simulator tonight. Yeah, me and the girlfriend, we're gonna fly over. We're gonna check out some beaches and Flight Simulator.
Yeah, this game was fucking awesome. I don't know if I'll ever play, if I'm being honest. I don't know if I'll get much enjoyment. It seems like it's not the easiest game to just get into and play. If it is, I'd be down to try it. And I think Top Gun seems like a perfect fit and would be fun. Expansion or DLC, whatever they're phrasing it as. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever play it.
Something that I totally forgot happened until I was looking over this stuff, but it was such a really well done trailer. I feel like it'd make a great. I know Netflix is doing a lot of video game animations, and this felt perfect for one of those. And that was Redfall from Arcane, which made Dishonored and Prey, this vampire themed TV show where it's you and like 4 other people or 3 other people are vampire hunters. I'm really excited for this because I feel like Arcane can do some really awesome shit story-wise. Combat feels nice. The weapons feel nice. Like, weapons feel like their own thing. Like, it's not like, oh, this is a gun and all guns act the same, or this is melee and all melee act the same. But I hate stealth games. And I hate feeling underpowered. But from what I can tell from this, almost like Left 4 Dead, which seems to be a common theme with a few things during E3, but I'm very excited for Redfall.
Yeah, I am too, and I feel almost the same way you do about those games. I think they're cool in premise, but more frustrating than fun to play for me. And this did look really cool, and it said that 4-player co-op, like you said, it said it can also be played single player, and the multiplayer option will be blended seamlessly. I don't know how seamlessly that would be. I feel like we've heard things like that. I'm wondering how, if you could actually just play it single player, because you don't obviously always have co-op partners. I do think it was really cool. I am excited. They showed no gameplay, which is, this is the first time we've seen. I'm not saying that we should have had gameplay. It's hard to get too excited. I think the premise of it and who's behind it is exciting, but I want to see actual gameplay first to see what it actually plays like and the style of it.
Something that the next thing is something I did not expect. Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a launch date and everything for it. Maybe I thought DLC, but not this full-on sequel.
Oh, that's definitely what I thought. Yeah, they didn't actually have a release date, right? Just 2022. Or was there a specific release date?
I thought so.
No, all I can find was 2022.
Let's watch the trailer real quick. I'm sure that'll be at the end, right?
The crazy thing that when I was trying to find the release date, I didn't notice this. This is, I think, the first game that has been announced for Xbox Series X and S only. There's no last gen, I guess you want to say now, of it. So Xbox will not come to Xbox One, which I'm not complaining. Games need to start doing that, and it's kind of shocking that, at least as of now, Xbox is the first one of doing that ahead of PlayStation.
I'm that one game enlisted though. Isn't that only on PC and Series X?
Not sure.
I don't think Enlisted's on Xbox One.
Oh, the one you're talking about. Yeah, I guess I'm sure there is, not that it's a small game, but I feel like this is the first like major game that everybody will talk about. Yeah, I
Cool,
guess there
cool.
is other games to have.
Next one's I don't know if I'll get this or not. I'm kind of in the I'll give this a shot or not. That's 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's this Groundhog Day-esque thing where you kill your wife.
I didn't remember that. I know you said that, and I'm not saying it wrong because I don't remember it. I know they've shown this game a few times, so maybe that is what it is.
I remember last year them showing him getting arrested, and his wife's there, and he's like, "I didn't do it," or something like that. You're talking on my ass, but I don't know. I want to see someone else play this before I give it a yes or no. I want to see some gameplay.
I think this is another, which I think the first two games we mentioned are Game Pass Day 1 as well. I think this is one of those as well. So I should put that on all of them. I'll put it on some of the games. So that would help that it comes to Game Pass Day 1. This is the game that has William Dafoe and Daisy Ridley and one other big name, I think. But might be making that part up. I know those two are in.
I think there is another one. Hold on. James McAvoy?
Yeah. Yeah, so an odd game for three really big names to be in, but I'm curious to see about it. I'm not really excited, but I am curious about it.
Sea of Thieves getting DLC. Pirate's Life. With new characters and original storyline based on Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean. With looks like Jack Sparrow will narrate the story or come along with you.
Yeah, and it's real soon, June 22nd. All of this was awesome. I love Sea of Thieves. My biggest complaint is that there hasn't been a story mode. It's just kind of like an open sandbox, which I get. That's the point of it. And it is fun, but I always wanted a narrative thing. I like Pirates of the Caribbean, and as we said when we were watching, it's a perfect crossover. And it's free DLC, which all of it just kept getting better and better when we watched it. And I think that's even free DLC just all around, right? Not even if you have Game Pass.
I think so.
Which is crazy. And nuts that it comes out that soon. Also, you missed a good pun there. You said DLC for Sea of Thieves. They should have done it too, DLC, and just spelled it differently.
Boom. All right. One I think we're all excited for. Back for Blood.
That's right.
We got. Is it the first time they announced the launch date? October 12th?
I don't think so because they delayed it. So I think that's been known, but maybe they just delayed it to say a later point, and this is the first time it's actually been confirmed.
Still feel the same about it, no different.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is the first time they said they would come to Game Pass Day 1, which is something I said on here months ago. And I think it's a perfect fit for it. That's why I predicted it, not because I thought I was amazing or anything. I just thought that was a perfect fit, and I think a good win for Xbox that they already had Left 4 Dead as an exclusive, so I thought it was a perfect fit to have that come to Game Pass Day 1.
Stalker 2, which is in Stalker 1's an old PC game that is, I think is the definition of cult classic or cult following. I know this is not the true Stalker 2. I know there's been some sequels that been either delayed or absolute shit. I think they were Russian games. I forget there's a famous saying that became like an internet meme a few years ago. Can't remember. But I'm excited to play this. I know Metro has been given shit for kind of stealing stuff from this game. Kind of curious when it comes out how many people compare it to Metro.
Oh, I'm sure that'll happen a lot. Those things always come full circle.
Yeah, and the Reddit nerds are going to lose their minds. Actually, Stalker. I can't remember the fucking internet. That was more like 10 years ago now that I think about it. It's like, I can't remember. I'll think about it and try to remember for next week.
This game looked cool. I've never played Stalker, and I think Metro is a really cool idea. I think I played the first one and wasn't a big fan of it. Kind of what we were talking about, Dishonored, it was slow, and I remember a lot more realistic as far as your inventory and what you could carry and everything. So I can't say it's a bad game. I think it seemed really interesting. But again, this might have the same issue for me with this one.
A New Horizon, which I kind of expected.
Yeah.
It's in Mexico. I don't know. I just feel the same about those games every time they come out. I love racing games, and I think Forza is one of the better ones for sure. But I think the real Forza, this motorsport's not. Never got super into Horizon because there's always some cheesy story or something, and it was like their way to compete. Like Gran Turismo would go up against motorsports, and Horizon would be like Need for Speed. I always thought motorsport better game.
I've never gotten too into either of them. I'm not the biggest semi racing fan to begin with, so Horizon actually seemed more of my alley 'cause it's more arcadey.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that I don't know if I'll play this. I just thought multiple times it looked cool and never really played Forza. I played a couple of them here and there, but never stuck with them.
Really?
I thought that mini game mode they showed seemed cool though. Kind of seemed like something out of Monkey Ball or like Halo Action Sack, all like the ridiculous things you could play, like bowling and whatnot. But I don't know if that'd be enough to make me play it. It'll be on Game Pass obviously because it's exclusive.
I had a couple of friends that were way too into Forza. One of them even had his parents had a racing seat with the 360 attachments and surround sound speakers, and put way too much money into just Forza. Had a few friends that played it and really enjoyed it. I think once you get to the point though that you're actually doing the shifting and shit, that's where that loses me. But yeah, and then Horizon just seems like a way to get the non-simi people in there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially with these mini games. Well, I guess that these are the two biggest ones, which is Starfield would be probably the next biggest one. Got a sort of a trailer for it. I don't even know if I'd maybe say more of a teaser than a trailer.
I think it was a couple minutes, but yeah, I feel like you didn't get much of a look at it.
Like it didn't really explain too much, but yeah. Oh, it's listed as a teaser trailer.
How long does it say?
It
wasn't as long as it felt either.
2 minutes 18 seconds.
That seems like a normal length for a trailer, so it's
But
weird to call it that.
You gotta remember, wait, is this actually what happened? The last 20 seconds is just the Starfield logo, it looks like. Phone is freaking out over this, yeah. Just the I don't know. I want to see more about this game. I'm not too certain about it. There was a splash screen with some characters on it. It looked like the main character is a woman.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as I am with Redfall. I think it is a exciting idea, and the trailer was cool, even though I didn't see much. I'm a big sci-fi guy, so it seemed interesting. I think November 11th, 2022 is a good date, just as far as like the number thing, 11/11/22. I know Todd Howard did an interview after because everybody's talking about what the game actually is, and he said it's a way bigger Skyrim in space. And I was like, that sounds like that'll win most people over. And I do like Fallout, so maybe I will, but that sounds also fucking gigantic and overwhelming. So we'll see how I feel about it. I think I don't know. I feel like people are going way too hard either way about how they don't want to hear anything about Starfield and nobody knows anything about it, or it's going to be the best thing in the world. I feel like I'm kind of in the middle, but I'm excited but not in a hurry, and we know what we know so far, so it's hard to get too excited about it.
Right. And the big head honcho here at Halo Infinite. I don't know. I feel like they haven't some new footage from the game. But I don't know. And not that craziness. Not as crazy as I thought they'd be on Halo Infinite.
No, I definitely agree. I have a lot to say about Halo, as you might expect. Is there anything else? Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, I'm good.
I had a few other games that are definitely not as big as these two that we can talk about before we move on. There's something else I want to say about Starfield, but I'm missing it. Maybe I'll talk about it next week. So I'll start with what I thought about Halo and what I think is exciting about it, and then the kind of negative and the reaction other people are having, because I'm kind of with you on some stuff. So they started out by showing what just seemed like a cutscene out of the campaign, and remind me a lot of Halo 2 style, with him floating through space and going from object to object. And I guess before that, Joseph Statham came out on stage, which was cool because I feel like that kind of reminded me of the old school E3 days when they would show Halo, because he was an original person on Halo, which I feel is definitely intentional on their part. They're trying to get all the old Halo feels back. So it's cool hearing him talk about it and knowing that he's somebody that cares about Halo and is so attached to it. And then I know when we were watching it, he said during that you won't be alone. And I was attached to that, as you might remember. I was like, so who is it? Because it seemed like it was a crazy tease. I rewatched it. He's definitely just talking about the new Cortana, the AI. I watched it again. I was like, oh, that's who he's fucking talking about, because Cortana isn't there. So he's just talking about that's who. You're not alone. You're with a new AI. Because at the end of the trailer, he grabs him, puts in the back of his head, which I'm not sure how I feel about a new AI, but we'll see. That's more story wise, is when I'll care about that. So that's all we got on single player, which I'll get into that later. So I'm mainly focused on multiplayer. They showed a little bit during the press conference and then an in-depth thing the next day. And it looks like a mixture of Halo 3 and 5, which I think is perfect for multiplayer, because I think 3 is the most fun I ever had with multiplayer. I think it's some of the best maps. I think it's the best blend of Halo as far as having equipment and the power weapons and the control spots on the maps, and not having loadouts and all these things that I feel like they had to force in because games were changing. I felt like that completely changed how Halo played. But I think the things that Halo 5 did better was the movement and the verticality and the actual, like the not the gameplay, but I guess the feel of the game. And this looks like it blends both those together. And my least favorite thing about 5 and 4 was the maps. I think the people that criticize 4 and 5, the thing I hear the least is the maps. I think those are 4 and 5 have the least forgivable maps out of all the Halos for multiplayer. I feel like Halo 2 and 3 particularly have maps that stand out like crazy, and there's nothing I remember about 4 and 5. I think some of them are visually cool, but I think most are kind of boring. And I think the layouts are really weird in most of them. And this looked like, the maps looked like Halo 3 mixed with 2, which I think is perfect for this. So I think it blends the gameplay as far as the map control and the weapons and bring equipment back with the verticality, like you could climb up on ledges and grab it instead of doing the awkward thing you did in old Halos where you jump and just slide off. So I think it's a perfect blend of it. There's the equipment. I know a lot of people are worried about the grappling hook and some of those things. That's essentially equipment in this one, which I think is a good move, because I think those things are cool, but I think they could get super annoying and ruin the flow of Halo. So I think it's cool that they bring equipment back in a new way. They showed a new vehicle in the longer presentation they did the next day called a Razorback, which is like a new Warthog. I think it's fucking awesome. It's instead of having a gunner in the back, you can have two people sit back there, and then there's like a storage unit where you can put a gravity hammer. You can put anything but plasma grenades, or I think one of the cooler things is any of the objectives to go put a flag in there and then have people sit on top of it instead of doing that awkward thing where you're just sitting in the side seat with it. So there's a lot of small things that I think other people won't notice that I think matters to people who play Halo a lot like me. And one of the things they showed in that longer look was, instead of weapons just randomly spawning in, Pelicans will bring them in. You'll like hear an announcement that Pelicans bring in a vehicle. Or instead of weapons just randomly spawning, they do have a certain spot, which I think is very important, instead of having random weapons or loadouts. Because like I said, I think that's weapon control and map control is the thing that made Halo different. So like they're going back to that. But they have, instead of weapons just spawning up out of nowhere, they have ODST pods dropping them in. So I think all that's cool, because I think it kind of makes it feel more real instead of just you're standing there and the warthog pops up. I'm wondering how the ODST pods, if there's weapons like inside of bases, the pods just gonna drop straight through there, or are they gonna? I'd be okay if they just ignored it at those points and weapons did pop in there, but I feel like with how stupid people there are, they would criticize that or something. I think it looked way more jarring to have a pod fall through a base where it shouldn't be. And my only concern with that, I think visually and realistically, that makes way more sense and looks way cooler. My only worry with that is that it was kind of cool when people didn't know something was there. Like, oh shit, the tank's back, and you could like run up to it, and now everybody's gonna know the tank's back. Hopefully, I guess maybe actually only tells you per team. Maybe that's the way it'll be. I guess if it does that, it won't really matter because only your team will know that. I guess that'd make more sense. But I don't know because of weapons. Maybe those don't get announced; they just drop in.
I kind of thought it would be more like Battlefield. How the new Battlefield's working, where you could call them in with points. So you get a certain amount of kills, and you have enough points to spend. You could buy a tank or buy a vehicle, where everything else would still be normal. Like you still have vehicles spawn in, like they do in old Halos. But if you wanted to call one in, if they were all destroyed, or if you're far away from them and you had enough points, you could spend them, and then that pod or Pelican would come to wherever you are.
I don't think that's what they're doing because they did that in Halo 4 and everybody had a big issue with it. And I think it's a cool mechanic, and I think that'd be a really cool game mode. And I think custom games, I think it's gonna make them so much more fun because they can do all kinds of crazy shit where you can have pods just dropping in nonstop. I think that'd be a fun game mode instead of random weapons, just pods dropping everywhere. So I don't think they're doing that, but I think that would definitely be a cool game mode or something you could do in custom games. They are finally adding bots in, which I know is way outdated now and about time. But I know growing up, that was something I dreamed of before there was Xbox Live. Man, I want to play against people. I'd literally just set up extra controllers and leave people sit there and kill them. But they have bots finally, which I think is a good thing. And they have the Academy, which is like a training setup for people that haven't played before, which I think is a good idea, where you can use the bots. And the cool thing about bots, I don't know if you saw that, you can adjust their difficulty. So instead of just having like these morons running around, you can do that, but you can make them as good as they get, however difficult it can be. So I think that's a good idea. They said that the battle pass, something I was worried about because every game does that, but things I liked that they said that it will never expire, and the old ones you can buy, and you can pick which one you want to work on at the time, and then pick the next one. So you can just have them sitting there and pick them as you go, and they'll never expire. There's no loot boxes, which I don't hate loot boxes as much as most people. I feel like you get a decent amount when you're playing, and I know they're a ripoff, so I don't buy them intentionally. So that one doesn't bother me as much, especially if it's cosmetic, which was my biggest thing. I don't care about any of this stuff if it's just cosmetic, which they said anything in the battle pass or anything like any unlockable is cosmetic, which I think is the best way to do anything like that. So I feel like that instantly changes the whole feel of the game if you don't do that. Something I was worried about when we were watching the initial trailer was the announcer voice, the classic Halo dude. I'm not gonna try and impersonate it because that'll end up on a cringe compilation, as you say. But that voice is like
kill.
Yeah, it's infamous with Halo. And they showed a girl's voice, which, no, it's not an issue. It's a girl. It's an issue that it's not the voice we know. And they said in this that he's still the big play announcer. Like, he'll announce the biggest things, but then he has something called personal AI, which you can change and unlock new ones. And then you can pick your favorite voice, which I think is a really cool idea, and I had no issue with. I am wondering, they said that he announces the big things and the personal AI announces the smaller things. I hope they just didn't explain that well, and if you don't change your personal AI, he still announces the small things. I feel like they just didn't say it well. But I would be curious, and it'd be kind of cool if you get like a Master Chief one or a Cortana one to have that as your personal assistant. So I think there's some cool ideas, or I think they could do something really funny like a grunt announcement or something. I think they have some room to work with stuff there.
Wasn't there a YouTube video where one of his family members of the guy that does that voice, like at Thanksgiving, and the relatives like recording it, like do it, teams. Slayer. I'm trying to think of some of the shit he says. Giltacular.
Yeah, that guy,
Kilimanjaro.
much like Steve Downs, who plays Master Chief, is nothing what you'd expect from hearing his voice.
No, not at all. He just looked like your friendly uncle. I don't know.
Something that was debated a lot about, especially even on this podcast, was Battle Royale. And they did not announce Battle Royale. I don't think they're gonna. I think, like I said, if any game makes sense for Battle Royale, I think it's Halo. But I'm completely fine with it not having it. I don't think every game needs it. And they only announced a few game modes. That's not all it's going to be in there because they didn't announce SWAT or anything. So what they announced is not going to be what's there. And they have months to work with, so I'm sure they're going to have ways to build up excitement and be like, hey, here's our other new game mode. So like I said, I hope more than Battle Royale we get the next big thing nobody's thinking about, which leads me into my biggest point with this, and that's that, as you can tell, I'm mainly positive on it because it's everything I want with the Halo game. As far as multiplayer, we'll get into single player in a second. But the main thing that I wanted for other people was not a battle royale, essentially, but something that was going to pull everyone else in. And I'm kind of surprised at how positively the feedback is on this. I don't know if you've seen people online everywhere. You can't find a bad thing said about it, which is so opposite of last E3, as we know. But it surprised me because, like I said, it's everything I want, but it's just improving Halo and taking Halo back to its roots at some point. So if this is what people wanted, and people that don't play Halo, if this is what they wanted, why haven't they just been playing Halo? I don't feel like any of this is something that should be pulling in brand new people, or people are like, oh, Halo sucked and now I'm back. I don't know what would have changed their mind here, which I think is going back to how I think this is Microsoft's most important property. I think that, or a studio, because of the property. And I think that's what they need. They can't just keep relying on the same people that play Halo every time, because then it can't be their biggest property anymore. I don't know, maybe obviously having a Game Pass and then free to play is going to get an audience in, but I don't think those people necessarily just stick around just because it's free to play unless there's a great game there, which it seems like there's going to be, but there's been great games there for years now and people haven't cared about them or mocked them. So I don't know what this is going to do different for them until we potentially see something that we haven't seen yet. And as much as I love multiplayer, single player is what matters to me the most. I love the story and the world of Halo. So I was bummed that it was so focused on multiplayer. I get it because that's what people wanted. And that makes me even more confused why people are so positive about it, though, because the main issue people had was how single player looked. And we still haven't seen how single player looks or if they improved that. And everybody's just, instead of being way too harsh on it now, seems just nothing but positive on it when those issues could potentially still be there. And nobody has any idea because we haven't seen it. So I think it's odd.
Is that it for Xbox?
I had a few other things. This one I thought more so because of you, because you were so excited. The Diablo 2 Remastered, officially releasing on September 23rd this year. And it'll feature 8-player co-op, and it'll run at 4K and 60 frames per second. Was this game always 8-player co-op, or is it 4 like the other ones?
Pretty sure it was 4.
That's what I thought.
The group of friends I played with, I don't think we ever went.
So I think that's cool. I don't know if we'll ever have 8 people. I've only played a third one and didn't stick with it because the people I was playing with bailed out on it, but I was liking 3 a lot, but didn't stick with it because of that. Fallout 76, they showed next 2 DLCs, July 7th, Steel Gain, I think it is. And then in 2022, they have The Pit, which looked really cool, but seems odd because The Pit was one of the first big DLCs for Fallout 3, so it seemed they're kind of just recycling, which I think that was one of the coolest environments, but I thought that was odd to go back to. They showed Party Animals, which is a competitive brawler. It totally looked identical to Gang Beasts coming to Xbox in 2022, which is odd because Microsoft owns Double Fine, which made Gang Beast, so we don't know why they made something that seems like a competitor of that and didn't have Double Fine make it. But I love Gang Beasts, so this looked like a fun party game to me.
It's still hard to believe that they're not involved in that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I
weird.
double checked after. I was like, maybe they just felt like you would have wanted to say a double fine.
checked. I get it.
And then Hades, I don't think I'll ever play it because I'm not a roguelike guy. I think it seems cool and I like that developer. But coming to Xbox Game Pass on August 13th. Atomic Heart will be coming to Game Pass day one, the Bioshock Fallout looking game. They've shown this game, I feel like, forever. I think it looks really cool. I'm wondering if it is going to live up to as cool as it looks. So I think it's a perfect Game Pass day one game because then I'll have to spend $60 because, oh, this game kind of empty and boring, which I think it's going to be one of those two ways, a really cool world or really empty and boring. They showed the Among Us update getting the 15-player lobby, which I think is necessary for that game. I think if you're the streamers or those kind of things, it's going to be utter nonsense. But I think like for just groups of friends, I think we always had that awkward thing where they're like one person had to sit out or whatever. So I think it's a good idea. And then Psychonauts 2 finally gets a release date August 25th of this year, coming to Game Pass day one, of course, being a Microsoft exclusive. I still haven't played the first one, but I want to play that. I feel like that's right up my alley, a 3D platformer. And then Contraband, which is from the developer of Just Cause, Avalanche Studios, a new co-op open world game. We all totally thought this was Indiana Jones when it was being shown.
Oh yeah.
We didn't really see anything aside from it was open world and co-op and looked like Indiana Jones. I think Just Cause always seemed like a cool idea, and I think I imagine it's going to be pretty similar to that. So bringing co-op to that sounds like a natural evolution of that to me. And
You play Smuggler's Run as a kid?
no, I know what it is, but I never played it.
I hope it's something similar because it's I think be perfect online co-op kind of thing.
Okay.
New take on that.
Yeah, I know what it is, so yeah, I'd be down for that. That sounds like fun. The only other thing that I had on here for Xbox was they showed gameplay of Battlefield 2042, and looks fun. Nothing crazy to me still. The only thing that I was going to bring up, I should have said last week, like I said, I avoid talking about things because I'm so worried about arguments or fights, but these things shouldn't turn to fights. We're talking about video games. And I don't think this game's getting a battle royale, and I don't think there's any plans for it. And I should have said it to Derek, and that shouldn't be a fight. But I'm just always like, I don't want to turn to ESPN where you're just arguing to argue. But I feel like there's nothing wrong with just talking back and forth and debating things. And I looked it up, and they said that they have no plans for a battle royale. I wouldn't be shocked if the game fails, if they add it in. But I don't think that's code for, same with Halo, I don't think that's code for they're not working on it, which means somebody else is working on it. I think they literally don't have plans for it. I think they could add in the game's failing, which I could see. But I don't think you work on a game for almost 4 years like Battlefield, or almost 6 or 7 years, whatever the hell Halo is now, and don't have that ready if you want that in there. But we'll see. I could be wrong. But that's all I had for Xbox after my Halo rant.
Cool. What were you guys calling Square Enix? Squinks?
Squinks. Yeah.
Squinks?
Is that right? Squeenix. That's it.
Squeenix.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Squeenix, I'll save that for last. I don't know if I want to start with that. I mean, there's not too much here. There's some.
No.
They're really out there parading Marvel Avengers around. I'm still not that interested into it. They focus a lot on Life is Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Doing some newer shit with that, and just Final Fantasy. Just a lot of shit I couldn't care about.
A lot of Final Fantasy and a lot of things that look like Final Fantasy.
Yeah. A lot of the. What's that? Cody, what's going on? Cliche stories. The darkness is taking over the world. There's an evil lady. But then Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. It looks a little cliche. Weird not seeing the stereotypical characters.
Mm-hmm.
Or the ones that we know Guardians
Yeah.
as. Looks good. Reminds me a lot of the Fallen Order. Very similar play styles. It's weird as you can only play as Star-Lord, from what I could tell, or what I saw on it. But I'd give that a shot. Looks interesting enough.
Yeah, I want to play it. It comes out October 26th, which is so soon because I didn't hear about this game at all, which hopefully isn't a bad sign. I don't think it is. Nothing like groundbreaking or like holy shit, but nothing like bad either. So I think they just kept it under wraps, which is rare these days. And it's made by uh, Eidos Montreal, which did Deus Ex. So you have a big developer behind it. So I don't think it's something that was rushed and like no name. I like the world of Guardians of the Galaxy. I do think it's odd that you can only play as Star Wars. This seems like a perfect 4-player co-op game. But I feel like that was probably intentional. I wouldn't be surprised if this game even started out as 4-player co-op and they saw how Avengers was doing. Let's just try and stay as far away from that as we can and not have people think this is just another Avengers situation. Because, yeah, it seems prime for a 4-player co-op game, and I wish it was, but I could get if that's why they did that. And a lot of people are complaining that it just seems like a base game and there isn't like a huge progression system and there's not co-op and there's not like an ongoing world. But again, I think that's refreshing. I think Marvel would have benefited from doing that, or Avengers would have benefited from doing that. So I like that. Even though this doesn't seem spectacular and nothing stands out, I like that it seems like it's a contained own thing that you beat the game and you beat it and then that's what it is. I'm totally okay with that. I still am curious about Avengers, and I'm not the biggest fan of Black Panther. I thought what they showed actually looked kind of cool, surprisingly. I still haven't played the base Avengers game, so we'll see what that does for me. And I'm not surprised they showed it because they need to do something with Avengers, or they're just gonna keep supporting it, or it's just gonna fall apart, one or the other.
All right. The next thing is Warner Bros. Games, which I didn't know what I expected, but not this. Just all they talk about was Back for Blood.
Yeah,
It's fine, but for something that kind of on life support and constantly under the pressure that they're going to be sold or closed down, I thought they would do more than just that.
I know they did put out a big thing we should have talked about last week. It's my fault about how they wouldn't be showing a lot of the big games that you expected, like Harry Potter and Dead Island and a lot of the games they own. But still, yeah, I didn't think it'd just be Back for Blood. And even then, I thought if that's what I knew it'd be, I would assume it'd be like a 20-minute sit down, like go through a whole level. It was just a shitty webcam interview, and that was their press conference.
Yeah. So we'll just move on to PC Gaming Show, which had a lot of content. I guess we'll start with Project Warlock 2, which is kind of all part of this renaissance of vintage, I guess more retro-styled shooters, FPSs, kind of going back to that Doom look. There's a few games that are like this that I want to go through and play. Let's see. There was like a little trailer for this game called Wandering Village. Looked interesting, kind of like a strategy game. Kind of looking at a village and it's slowly zoomed out, and you realize the village is on the back of a dinosaur. And it zoomed out more, and then you run this whole map. It didn't tell us much, but it seemed interesting. And I was like, do you just build up this town and wander around? A strategy game. So it's something I definitely wanted to check out. And then this game called Chernobylite. It looked like fucking Metro or Stalker. I don't know. I think this thing's gonna flop hard and go under the radar. It's just odd that there's another Chernobyl game. So I'm just going through everything they have here. There's a lot of shit they showed. They showed Jurassic World Evolution 2. Those games are, they're probably, I don't know if you call them cult classics or what, but people really enjoy them.
Oh, yeah.
The first one I know holds a lot of value. The older versions on Xbox was a big collector's thing before they released the first one. We saw a trailer for Hello Neighbor 2, which I don't know, man. This looks better than the first one from what I've watched played. I don't know what you're doing now. You're the dad or the son of the bad guy, and you're fucking with him.
I couldn't tell what was happening.
I couldn't tell either, but
yeah, that first game always seemed cool, and I played for a little bit, but did not seem like my kind of game.
Yeah, and then we saw some DLC for Killing Floor 2, which puts it in space. This is the stereotypical thing to do.
I was
Pretty
laughing
sequel.
because PC Gaming Show, I feel like we see something for Killing Floor every single year. That game was cool. I never played it, but I just can't believe they show it literally every year.
I love that game. It's pretty good. I put a lot of time in the first one. Thursday show so much shit. I'm just going through the whole list here. We finally saw some more of Vampire Masquerade. I don't know. Looks a little too drama,
Yeah.
a little less action. Man, when I got my PC, I put a lot of time into Orcs Must Die. So it's exciting to see a third one out. I would like to go back and try it. I think those are great. I think you'd really like them too. Your PC should easily run them.
You know, to try it.
They're a lot of fun. Man, I'm not. That looks like it. I mean, you saw some Chivalry 2 stuff. I played the first one. I really didn't like it. But I think that just came out, so. Or is getting ready to come out.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I had a PC Gaming Show and didn't have anything saved, which I know theirs is one of the usually the most boring ones and the cringiest. But I feel like there's usually a handful of games where I'm like, oh my god, that game looks fucking crazy. And I don't feel like there's anything like that this year. I feel like the main thing we were seeing was games are like that's really what they're like touting to get this top end PC for. I feel like they usually show shit that I'm like, Jesus, there's no way I could even come close to running that game. I feel like it's odd the games they're choosing to show.
All right, so the next one is Future Game Show. Did you have anything for that one?
No, that was another one that either didn't air or just kind of skipped over somehow because I never even saw it.
Kind of looks like they just went over more Jurassic World Evolutions 2, some of Sonic Colors Ultimate. Just another thing probably could have been condensed.
Yeah.
So then we can move on to Verizon.
Yeah, day 3.
Which I did not watch. Saw the little clips of it. Just endless virtue signaling and cringe and black and 5G and oppression and inequality. Just trying to hit on their word. It was such obvious corporate cringe, and I just wanted to like grab them all and be like, "Do you think you did something? Like you went out there and just sat in an echo chamber and farted and drank your own shit?
Yeah,
you did something."
You weren't here when we originally watched this one. You didn't come over at this point yet. But I was watching it, and I told you it felt like a Devolver press conference. It was so over the top. Yeah, it was very virtual signaling, and it seemed like they had 6 bullet points and like 6 lines they just kept using. Yeah, 5G is the future, and with the power of 5G, it's really going to fix the issue of diversity. And with that, it'll be very much more immersive. What? None of this is making sense. It's just like you Google like 5 lines that are like very well known in E3, and then 5 social issues, and jam them together and set them over and over, and didn't make any fucking sense. This is one of the few times, which ended up happening a good amount this day because it seemed to be a trend. But this is one of the first times to begin with that I started watching press conferences and just turned it off. So there's absolutely no substance here. You guys keep saying all these bullet points, and you're not actually showing or explaining anything. There's just no actual fucking content here.
Yeah. Then they paraded a black guy out there. That, he's on the Chargers. Show off Madden Mobile.
And they didn't show the game.
Yeah, and you can tell some of the awkward things where they're like, so talk about the games. Like, I enjoy this game. Mobility. 5G. And I kind of joked that it reminded me of when NFL players win the Super Bowl and they do a post interview and clearly a company has paid them. So yeah, they wanted to finish every sentence with 5G as if that's something new or that not everyone fucking has already. It was weird.
And I told you I'm pretty sure if any NFL player saw another NFL player playing Madden Mobile, they would get made fun of. No fucking NFL players playing Madden Mobile.
No. When I'm at the hotel and, wow, us sports guys are real busy, and thanks to 5G. So I missed all the rest of them till, let's see, Capcom, I think.
Yeah, I was going in and out trying to see these, and every time I turned to it, it just seemed like there was interviews, and I couldn't tell if it was a press conference. You had in television, Take Two, Mythical Games, Indie Showcase, Freedom Games, and something called Ven. Ven, I don't know what that is. And yeah, that's what I was talking about the trend with starting with Verizon. I planned to watch all these all day, and I kept going back and forth. I was like, all right, let's stop playing games, see what's on. And every time, it just seemed not interesting, not like an E3. So I kept turning back to our game.
And television is probably one I'll go back and watch. I've been following these guys for a while, and I think this October, they're supposed to finally release that console, and I hope something happens for it. I know there's a small group of guys that seem to be working on it, and been on their email chain for a long time, and I've considered picking up the console and trying it out. But so yeah, I came over for Capcom, which honestly was another mistake. I don't know. Is there anything of any substance that you thought happened in that?
No, I put together a summary. Somehow they showed 3 franchises throughout this whole thing. It was Resident Evil, which was DLC for Village, multiple Monster Hunter games, and then some detective game. And that's what they showed this entire press conference. And this was not one of the longer ones, but not like these super short things. It was probably like 25 minutes, I would guess, if I remember right. And I just don't know how that's what you show when you're Capcom. You have some of the biggest properties in video game history, and that's what you show. It's fucking crazy.
Then Razer was just gigantic, powerful, groundbreaking. I also like how he said his team, Razer, were known as the crazy scientists, the why nots, the why can'ts. It's like, dude, do you realize you're not supposed to give yourself that title? This guy's like just a complete knockoff Steve Jobs. He just ripped a page out of his book, and right now, my team, we're working and we're doing. I just I couldn't fucking stand it. I don't like that guy in general. That's kind of one of the reasons I hate Razer.
Did you know that guy already?
Oh yeah.
Oh really? That's the first time I've seen him.
Really?
At least I know of, yeah.
I think I've been following him on Facebook since gosh, man, I don't know. I think I was still in high school or something. His personal Facebook too, so he'll first class flying out, and he'll like post pictures of him and his Razer products all in the first class. And I think they do have good stuff. I think they've still 10 years later, and they're still just like, look at all the colors on our things. We have red, white, green, blue, yellow, RGB out the ass.
I can't believe it's only been 10 years, because I feel like that's been around for as long as I can remember. So I guess even though I don't know that guy, I must have known about them like the year they launched, because I've known about them for what feels like forever now.
I mean, I've been following him for 10 years on
They
Facebook.
said something in a press conference about how, well, Danny said it, maybe he misheard it. They've only been around 10 years. So he said something that implied that too.
Let's see.
Or he must have.
No, 1998.
Must have been, he must have misheard. It must have been a product released 10 years ago.
Oh, the Razer Blade. Yeah, because I think it's one of the earliest things I saw on Facebook from him was him showing off which it is insane, because at the time I bought Asus's big gaming laptop. That thing's fucking gigantic compared to the Razer.
Yeah.
But we're 10 years later, dude, and you're still doing the same shit.
Well, not the same shit. If you're going to talk about
Powerful.
Their last product, I'm not sure if we're going to bring that up. That's pretty innovative.
RGB colors. But yeah, the new laptop looks great. The stats on it are insane, and I still don't know how they got that price point. The only thing that bothers me about that laptop, the new Razer Blade 14, is the RAM. It's like stuck at 16. You can't upgrade those. Most laptops you can upgrade the RAM.
Okay.
16 is really fucking low and kind of shocking. I still need to look and see if that's true and if that's possible to upgrade it, because that's no bueno. I know Warzone uses way more than that.
Isn't it one of the cheaper parts too? Like for them, I mean, if they.
Yeah, you would think.
Seems like an odd thing to skimp on. I get it if it's like an expensive part, but I don't know why you would skimp on something like that.
Maybe the size. I don't know, because I think he uses a weird RAM size, so it fits in that little package.
Okay.
I want to see Asus's response. before I get too excited about this laptop.
Mm-hmm.
If I had the money saved up, if I had $2,000 drop on a laptop and I had to buy it right now, I'd probably buy that one. Because that laptop is like, that'll be top of the line for 3 years probably. I know Derek's been trying to explain it to me too. Probably usable for like fucking 20 years or something. But yeah. So I think that was the end of that day.
We talked about the mask. Did you want
Oh Jesus,
to?
yeah.
You don't actually have to.
There's I mean, they always do a meme thing. Like I remember whenever the Razer toaster was, and this felt like it. It just feels really late, and I think the smart way of them doing it of you have to order it and then they'll produce it.
Uh-huh.
It's smart. Because if not, that shit, I could see those sitting on shelves.
Yeah, they're making it seem like you had to do that because they're so exclusive, but that's clearly so they know that they don't make too many of them.
Oh yeah. Let's see. So we are on. That's the end of that day, right?
Yep, day 4, starting with Nintendo. Unless you had something first. I think that was the first thing that day.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think Nintendo was the second best one.
So too.
Xbox was the first. I know it's not getting the most love online. I don't know what the fuck people expected. I feel like they did everything that I would have expected them to do. We did get a new Smash fighter. I guess they'd show the final one, but they're not. They put. I'm not a big Tekken guy. What's one of the main characters? Kazuya. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. You see him, you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for sure they'd put out both, so I'm curious who the next one is. No new Metroid Prime 4 news, but we did see the Metroid 5 stuff, which was Metroid Dread, which I guess is, you told me this first, but I read about it on IGN. It's infamous among Metroid fans. It's a canceled / rebooted twice, but now we get to play it this year, IGN says. But yeah, it reminds me of the, gonna make sense because this is right around the time I was playing the Game Boy Advance games. I'm excited for this. Then they announced a new WarioWare game, which I think are some of my favorite Nintendo games are. I think the ones I would probably like the most as well, haven't put much time into them, would be Metroid. Probably what's the racing game? F-Zero?
Yeah.
F-Zero, the WarioWare games, Star Fox, the things that people will probably almost like the B list of Nintendo games, I think, from what I've played, are some of my favorites. I've always wanted to play the Advance War games. They're getting pretty expensive and pricey, and would probably eventually just have to emulate them. But they did announce a new WarioWare game, Advance War Remasters 1 and 2, Mario Party Superstars, which is kind of like a remaster for the N64 boards.
Yeah, it comes out October 29th and has 100 mini games throughout the Nintendo 64. The 5 Nintendo 64. No, that's not true. Yeah, that's a typo there on them.
3?
Yeah, I think 3, maybe
2, 3.
4. I don't remember how many came on 64, but I think those are the best Mario Party, so I think a collection of 100 of those and online play is a lot of fun. I think I don't know how Nintendo going to get criticized more for this, and I'm excited for that, but then every time I get excited, I'm like, holy shit, they just keep re-releasing shit, and nobody has an issue with that. I feel like if Microsoft did this, they would get fucking... I mean, even people made fun of Master Chief Collection, and that thing was like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing, and a crazy-ass value in collection, and so much content. And Nintendo, their biggest releases are Wii U games and then bundles of old Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm about to buy it, so I won't say I'm part of the issue because I think it's worth the money. I just think it's weird how they don't get more criticism for that. I think eventually they do need to start doing something else other than that.
The preservation side of me, too, is I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
1 through 3 was N64.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to put 5 on here.
4, and then there was one after 4 and 5, I think, were GameCube.
Yeah, I think 64 was... Yeah, I think 64 was the best. I think GameCubes were good. And I think Wii and Wii U got okay to absolutely terrible, and then it got really good with the Switch again.
I think that Wii U is the pinnacle of the worst one, though.
Yeah.
It was ass.
Uh-huh.
That was a day one buy, too, for me.
Was it?
Yeah. Let's see. Back to Nintendo here. I think besides those and Monkey Ball Banana Mania, which is right up your alley.
Mm-hmm.
About the only things they announced, and then at the end, it topped everything off with the Breath of the Wild sequel tease.
Yeah, coming in 2022, at least they say. We'll see if that happens or not.
I'm surprised people are giving Nintendo so much shit. It was like kind of refreshing versus everything else I saw.
As far as like how far away it is, you mean?
No,
Or
I mean,
are you
they're
just
literally
meaning
just
overall?
it didn't deliver everything, is what
Yeah.
IGN articles titled, and kind of seems verbatim of what everyone else is saying.
Yeah. If you're compared to the other ones, yeah, I think it destroys everything except Microsoft easily. I think it was a good direct. Yeah, people always overreact to this kind of shit. It wasn't my favorite, but I think if you look at the content, I think it's a good one. It just wasn't the stuff I was most excited for, but that doesn't necessarily make it bad just because it's not what I want. I think, well, I guess I'll touch on a few games here. You talked about WarioWare. This one has co-op for the first time, coming out September 10th on Switch. I don't know how co-op works, but I think that could be a fun party game.
First multiplayer too, right?
Yep. So that would be interesting. Metroid Dread. Do you know who Matt Casamassina is?
No.
Used to work at IGN. He was like an early person there. The game comes out October 8th, by the way, on Switch. But I guess he's the one that wrote that article in 2005 and then 2007. And he tweeted something funny. He said that he tweeted at Nintendo and said, "Sorry, broke the embargo from 2007." I was like, "Oh my god." Yeah, they showed more Mario Golf Super Rush coming out June 25th. They've already shown that, but they announced they'll have free updates post-launch that includes new golfers and courses, which I think is something Nintendo doesn't get enough credit for.
I knew I was missing a game.
Oh, was it that?
Yeah.
I feel they do that a lot where they keep putting post-release launch and well after it comes out, and a lot of times free, and you don't really see that often unless it's like Game Pass or something like that. Super Monkey Ball, like you talked about, comes October 5th, and it'll have 300 stages from the Monkey Ball games and 12 mini games, which is actually my favorite part of Monkey Ball is the mini games, and a big cast of character, whatever that means. I think it's a cool idea. I don't know if I'll actually get it. I can't imagine it's a Switch only. I'd definitely rather have that on Xbox because that game is way more addictive and fun with achievements, which is something that when we're talking about our dreams, I should have had that. It's not going to happen, but having achievements on a Nintendo system or achievement system, whatever they want to call it. And it's so weird because if any company started achievements, you'd think it'd be Nintendo. It seems like such a Nintendo thing. I feel they're so traditional now that the other companies have it. They're like, we're not doing that. That's not a Nintendo thing, which sucks because I feel like you could do it so easily. You could do coins with Mario or chess with Zelda or all kinds of shit, or even have game-specific ones where it ends up being an overall scoring system, but the exclusive games like that, the first-party games, have their own achievement systems. Like you could do coins, and each game would have their own thing. I should have talked about that and Shadowrun coming back to Xbox. I knew I was missing a couple. But the only other thing that I had on Switch was...
Just to jump back to those, I totally agree. And I always thought stickers. Was it... which Mario game uses the stickers on paper?
I think so. I know what you're talking about, but for some reason I can't place it.
Figured each achievement could be a sticker, and you have your sticker books. So
Yeah.
each game, you go to each game, which would be like a page in the book, and you'd see, in the sticker book, you'd see the outline of where the sticker would go or was from. Thought that'd be kind of cool idea.
I wish they would do it so bad. And
you could do like a physical version too.
Yeah. I had hope for when achievements were blowing up, and then when PlayStation copied them, I was like, oh, Nintendo's not going to want to be out of this. But it went on this long. I feel like they are trying to purposely do their own thing, and they said they are so traditional. I feel like they didn't think of it, so they don't want it. Because people make fun of Nintendo, but they don't copy very much. And even though we mock them, if you look at it, the other companies copy Nintendo more than the other way around.
For sure.
The only other thing with the Switch was, I don't know if it's actually going to be good. I know you're excited about it, and I was. They're bringing Cruisin' back, as in Cruisin' USA.
Cruisin'.
It's Cruisin' Blast, and it comes out in the fall of this year. I think it's cool to bring that back, and I hope it can be like the old games. I feel like more than likely it's going to be kind of a janky arcade racer, so it's hard to be too excited about it.
They changed the music too. It threw
Yeah.
me for a loop at first.
That's all I had for Nintendo. There's only a few things that day. Did you want to touch on anything?
Probably just the only other thing I watched today was Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
I hung around, which is not a problem. I always have fun just hanging out and went shopping and stupid shit. But definitely waited around for Bandai and thought it'd be bigger than what it was. They only talked about Dark Pictures Anthology.
Yeah, House of Ashes.
Which looks pretty cool, man. I think that's a cool time period. Looks good. I think having the Iraqi soldiers, they look like I was trying to look at their uniforms, but they also look like Republican Guard, just like our boy from Lost. What's his name?
Saeed.
So there we go. And the demon's called Pazuzu, which I didn't realize that's the same demon they used in Exorcist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that same story of how that demon was created or whatever. So I'm excited for that game. I still need to play the second one.
Yeah, I'll play it again. You know, they're not as exciting the second time, but I'll not spoil things so you can play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I think the period and the setting's cool. I think it's cool that he said it in that, so it wouldn't be a spoiler because he watched it. This is the first one that seems like it's not something supernatural or something that it seems like there is actual monsters and not something that's messing with you or something. So I think that'll be a different kind of scare because you know it's real and, well, real, but you know what I'm saying? Me and Derek actually meant to talk about this last week. We watched the they did this might have been the trailer they showed was the same one they showed at a premiere thing they did last week, and we meant to talk about in the podcast last week. The weird thing is I'm excited, but this game made me think of something that I think is outside this game that I would have never thought about. And that is that I think this be a really cool take to take on a first-person shooter in this kind of style. Not by Dark Pictures necessarily, but I love first-person shooters, but there's only so much you can do with it, and I feel like the same, even Halo compared to Call of Duty, you can talk about the mechanics and like the art style, but when you really boil it down, it's the same base thing. I feel like you do such a cool, different first-person shooter where it's the co-op thing that they do in Dark Pictures, but what would make it different is that you're seeing different things. So, like, it'd be a first-person shooter, and I think horror probably works the best for it still. But I'd be like, oh, shit, he's right there. And then you'd see something different. And I feel like that'd be such a different take on first-person shooters that you've never seen anything like that. Clearly ripping straight off of them. So, not completely unique, but I think the reason I thought that, I guess I should say, was when he went in with the gun, I was like, oh, shit, the gameplay is going to be different. It's going to be like a completely different style game. It's not just going to be like a walking adventure game. This might be like third-person or first-person shooter, which I think first-person would make way more sense because that would inherently be more scary. But then I saw that would take it probably just in the cutscenes, and then the gameplay is probably just going to like hold the gun to the side or lose the gun or whatever. And that made me think how cool a first-person shooter would be like that and how unique that would make something that is, I think, pretty sterile overall.
New Fear game.
Oh, that'd be a fucking perfect game for that. I don't feel like I explained it well, but hopefully you get what I meant by that. I think that'd be a really fucking cool take on first-person shooter and freshen it up. Genre that I love, but I feel like I said when you boil everything down, there's not too many differences between them. And then the only other things were GameSpot, all Play for All showcase and the official E3 awards show, which I never saw GameSpot's thing start. The awards show we had on, and it started a half hour late and just had 3 people sitting on stage. And all right, my award goes to, and then they gave it. I was like, okay, I'm turning this off. And that's where I saw the infamous thing I told you about, because instead of this award show, they had the black voices of the video game industry, where they had 5 black females talking about how there needs to be diversity in the industry, which was funny that you had a panel of all the same thing talking about there need to be diversity. And what I'm considering changing my gamer tag to, it's right now it's Pink Natty Love, but she said she's tired of playing games where you create your own character and getting the 5 shades of beige. I think that's a good nickname or a gamer tag.
It is.
And I was like, I can't remember the last time I played a character created game and I couldn't pick. I only had beige to pick from. You have sometimes you have green and purple, and you always have probably 5 shades of black. And I was like, it's also ironic that you're saying 5 shades of beige because there's literally 5 shades of black on my screen right now.
Yeah, and then there's like beating a dead horse. That was like some Gamergate shit that they were complaining about like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like most of this stuff, creating issues, if that kind of stuff isn't an issue. And it's like the whole thing about how there needs to be more girls in games. The people that say that stuff and talk about how they get so tired of playing as Marcus Phoenix and Master Chief and all these people. No, you wouldn't like it if you played as a girl. No, I could care less. I don't fucking even consider that till other people say it. When I played Tomb Raider, I was like, oh my god, I'm playing as a girl. I was like, I'm playing Tomb Raider. I didn't care that was a girl because the game's fun. It shouldn't be about what that is. It should be about the fucking quality, but everybody has to make everything something that's not.
Yeah, I never thought when Anita Sarkeesian was like going nuts. Never thought that should be mainstream or out on there on stages, but here we are. We're just fucking racist, I guess.
Yeah, like Gears of War, Mira, is that her name? Mira?
Mira?
Yeah. The fucking leader of the entire clan. And I was like, she is badass. I was never like, oh my god, it's a woman. Because it just fit it and it didn't seem forced and seemed like a badass character. I wasn't like, oh my god, why couldn't she be a man? I feel like that shit becomes an issue when you do that and say that there needs to be females and there needs to be black people, or it doesn't happen, but vice versa. If that happened, then I feel like that you're creating your own issues by doing that.
Yeah, it's you're exactly right. Or you're forcing it, like you have a
Yeah.
word bank, like, well, we need one Native American over here. All right. All right, we need a black trans woman over here. Okay. Main character is actually just an orange blob.
Yeah, I could think of countless games. Halo, my favorite game. You could say Master Chief's the main character, but he's literally getting ordered around by Cortana and trusts everything she says. And Cortana's badass.
Well, then Marcus Phoenix is getting ordered around by Anya.
Yeah. And well, Anya's pretty fucking annoying, let's be honest.
Anya!
But on the first one, I say Marcus Phoenix is pretty fucking laughable. So it goes both ways.
Oh, yeah.
So that's E3. I think Microsoft is best by far. I think it's kind of weird because this E3, I think, is worse than most E3s. But I think Microsoft's press conference would be better than most regular E3s. Like even their press conference, I feel like this is better than a lot of press conferences they've had on a good E3 year. So it's weird they had such a standout one on E3 that was the opposite of that. I feel like it made it stand out even more, which I'm wondering if that makes PlayStation regret being there, or if they're like, man, now we got so much ammo to work with, and so eventually they're gonna obviously have to have their own thing. I know EA's, I think, doing EA Play in July 17th or something, and then I don't know if you saw, I think the 22nd Xbox said they're gonna do an extended look at their games, which I think is just like a deeper demo into those games. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. I think Nintendo, like you said, was definitely the next one up. And I think it is getting too much hate. I wasn't crazy about it, but if I'm judging objectively, not how I feel, I think it was good. For me, I think it was just okay. And then I think it makes it look even better when you look what it's up against besides Microsoft. I feel like that makes it stand out even more.
Yeah.
But I really hope this doesn't doom E3. I think I don't know if you saw Jeff Keighley tweeted, he said, I tried to warn you because there's like that rivalry between him and E3 now.
Yeah.
So I feel like he was like, this thing's gonna be a mess, like a fucking wreck, and that's why I'm not a part of it. So I hope that it doesn't turn into that, and everybody's like, yeah, see, E3 shouldn't exist because of this, because everybody knows that this was rushed. They know that they got these companies that would normally be on the show for and not presenting. So I hope that doesn't scare people away, and we get a truly real E3 next year. Hopefully with PlayStation, but even if they're not there, I think they can have E3 without them.
I think they'll be back.
I hope so.
After seeing the positive press Xbox got.
Yeah. You think PlayStation will, you mean? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I hope so. That one's the one thing I'm still least optimistic about.
I mean, I know they were pretty involved with that Summer of Gaming thing, but
yeah,
they look pretty shitty not being there. Like Xbox took a lot of the attention away.
Yeah. You have anything else before we get into the regular show?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Anything you forgot about from the weeks before?
No.
I don't have anything either, shockingly. So we can get into corrections, question, feedback. You have anything there?
No.
The only thing I had was I totally ruined that orgy question I had at the end of last episode. Do you remember that?
Orgy?
Yeah, where I asked if you go to orgy, if there's 30 people there. And I spoiled it because I said, and all the females left, but I was supposed to say, if 15 of the females leave, so that way you don't. Because I feel like I totally ruined it by saying all the females won't be there. I feel like you're just instantly like, wait, so there's no females there? But it's supposed to mess with you and be like, wait, if 15 aren't there, I'll go. But then you realize that still is no females. I can tell you about it. It totally worked on somebody else, and it was very funny. I don't think it's clever. I just thought if you don't process it fast enough, then you totally just say you're fucking a lot of dudes. And I think it's funny.
Oh yeah.
But I totally butchered my own joke with it. When I was editing, I was like, wait, I didn't even say the number. I just totally said, yeah, there won't be any females there, and ruined the whole thing. So we can get into question of the week from James B. He said, I was playing Dark Souls while listening to episode 69.
Nice.
There you go. I thought it was weird if I did it. And when he started talking about Warzone, I started thinking, what would a Dark Souls VR be like? It's still weird that people call it VR. I just think of battle rifle every time. That thought spawned this question. If you could add Battle Royale to a random game that doesn't need it, what game would that be? Signed, Sasquatch.
I don't know. Try to put some thought in this today, and like Tetris and Mario, they've already covered those. So, honestly, I don't know. I thought a sports game would be kind of cool, like a tournament style, like Madden could do the Super Bowl, where it just fills all the teams, like the entire playoffs with guys, with I don't know why I say guys, with separate teams, and a battle royale, which is essentially just the playoffs, and then the Super Bowl.
That'd be cool.
I feel like everything had battle royale, and if it didn't have battle royale, a game that was similar to that game had a battle royale. Even though I had these dumb thoughts where I was like, "Oh, Minecraft battle royale would be cool," then I remembered that was first battle royales I played was fucking Minecraft's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in the day, that was they shut most of those down, but they were called Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
So they didn't even have the term battle royale wasn't even a fucking thing. They just called it Hunger Games, and what else it was, but it essentially was battle royale. Like you had chests come in and permadeaths, and even like when I'd have thoughts like that's a good idea. Wait, they already had one. Like Minecraft was the grandfather of fucking battle royales. Them and Arma. They're pretty cool though, man. I played both of those. Like
Look at you.
Like a grandfathered in or some shit. We get a AAA or some card or something in battle royale. Day one.
That was all for you?
Yeah, which is kind of crazy thing about the history, because that was like 2015.
Yeah.
Battle royales feel like they've been here for a decade or something. It's not been that long.
That's why I think, and really hope Halo has the next battle royale. Yeah, because I think it hasn't been here that long, and it feels like that long. Because I feel like eventually the bubble's going to burst, and people are going to get sick of it. I know, obviously, people have. I'm saying, like in general, a large portion of people feel like they want something new. They just don't know it. Kind of like the old Henry Ford quote I always talk about.
Yeah.
I feel like battle royale is fun now, so everybody's like, no, we need more battle royale and everything. I feel like if we have something new that we don't know of, people would jump off battle royale.
Arma Wasteland is what it's called in
Oh.
Minecraft Hunger Game. No fucking, because they're like, what do we call these?
Yeah.
I mean, who the fuck called it battle royale first?
I told you,
PUBG?
PlayStation All-Stars.
That's right. Had to be PUBG, right?
Probably, yeah.
Which I think I got to start on the fucking Wasteland servers. Weird. I want a whole documentary of the history of battle royales.
So I had a couple before I start. I know we were playing a game the other night, me and Derek, and I was jokingly said this game would be perfect for battle royale. And then he was like, dude, it totally would. And I can't remember what that game was, and it was bothering me. I tried thinking about it all night. So
we're playing games and you said that?
Yeah, I jokingly said it sarcastically, and then he said that. I was like, yeah, I guess it would be kind of cool. So if I remember that, I'll bring it up. Even though, like I said, I don't think it needs it, I think Halo is a perfect world for it. So Halo definitely is one. But I try to think of more unique ones than just something obviously, because I think Halo seems like it's made for that. So what I had was a few different ones. I think a large scale pirate game like Sea of Thieves, but without the sandbox nature of it. Just a large scale sea battle. But battle royale I think would be so much fun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, large open sea, and then there would be islands you can get off of and try and like hide there or whatever, or get um fucking stock to use and stuff. And then the next one I had was, I think Harry Potter's the most obvious thing, but any kind of wizard thing, because I feel like that's not done enough with wands and powers. I feel like that'd be a really fun battle royale with wizards and spells and everything. And then the one I don't know if I'm most proud of, I think it's the most unique and I'd be curious about. I feel like it's going to sound really dumb, and I don't know if it actually would work. But I think, Trevor, get ready.
I'm sorry. Don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're good.
I'm retarded. The term battle royale comes from that Japanese movie.
Which one?
You ever watch Battle Royale?
I don't think so.
It was the one that everyone said Hunger Games copied.
Oh, I never.
The author was always gotten shit for copying them.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
So I'm trying to just go back here real quick and try to find like the history of these. And well, I guess technically they said you could boil it back all the way back to Bomberman, The Last Man Standing.
That'd be a fun full battle royale game, Bomberman.
So I guess they're saying the early mods and games from 2012, which I guess that'd be about right. The film Hunger Games, which had similar premise to the film Battle Royale. A server plugin named Hunger Games later changed to Survival Games. That's because they got in trouble. Legal problems calling it Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Survival Games, and they got in trouble for doing microtransactions that Microsoft wasn't getting paid for. So yeah, it was Minecraft. And then DayZ, a mod for Arma. I feel like I need a t-shirt or something, man. I've been here since day one, guys. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Trevor, get ready. My idea is Lego Battle Royale. And my idea isn't just the Lego games we know of. I think it'd be really fun to have a game where you have to build certain Lego things in a certain amount of time and like build objects, and then there's like a timer or some kind of system moving in or something that if you don't get to that certain portion by that time, then you're out. And then you could do squad base, of course, so you could have multiple people building at the same time. And then at the end, like the last two standing or whatever would have their things completed, and then you'd have to use those against each other and whatever it was. Like you built a giant ship, and then those ships would face each other or whatever. I think I don't really know how it'd work, but I think it's a cool idea in my head, you know?
No, I like that. There's a game called Ace of Spades that Jagex bought, like a guy that made RuneScape.
Mm-hmm.
That in like 2011 I played a lot of. And you kind of build your own shit. Which also is a very similar premise to Fortnite.
Yeah.
I think something dirty happened with Fortnite as well.
Think so?
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember now. I think so. The guy left the Arma. He got the idea from Wasteland. Went on to make DayZ, or he made the mods in Arma for DayZ, and then went on, did PUBG, or was brought on to help with Fortnite. I can't remember. Something shady went down.
Oof.
They didn't even make a movie out of this. I feel like you got a movie here with
Yeah.
this guy. I think he's from Brazil. Can't remember his name, but he is definitely would be the mastermind behind all these fucking BRs. Which honestly, I'm sure he's a millionaire. I'm sure he's wealthy. But I wonder if he regrets. I'm sure he could have been a billionaire if he would have played his cards right.
Yeah, did you hear? I know it's not just from Battle Royale, but that's definitely a big portion of it. Tim Sweeney's one of the richest people in the world now, the co-founder of Epic.
Really? Wow.
And if you've seen this guy, he's like the most generic, nerdy developer. It's great. I remember seeing him first on the Gears of War behind the scenes. I feel like they played up him being nerdy. Yeah, I'm just going to pick up the ladies, and then it's speed off in a Lamborghini. So I feel like it was like a skit. I was like, this is so fucking terrible. Then the only other one I had, this one isn't real. I meant to mention this one. I was talking about the game I forgot, because this was cool, but then I knocked it out because I thought this wouldn't work. and now is Guitar Hero. Because at first I thought that would be so cool to have 100 people and just see people falling out. But then where I think it wouldn't work is that it's so reliant on hearing the music, and even if you knocked out the other people's sound, then I feel like you could have like a scoreboard and see the people dropping out. But Guitar Hero is so reliant on staring at the screen. I feel like you would never want to look at who's coming in and out, and at that point, you're pretty much just playing Guitar Hero against yourself at that point. I feel like that one's a cool idea in theory, but it doesn't really work. So that was all the ones I had. If you have any corrections, questions, or feedback, you can send to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. And then, did you have any news?
No, but I looked at more about this guy is Brendan Green.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that started on Arma. He's not from Brazil. I don't know if he was living there at one point or what. I could have sworn. But yeah, he's from Ireland. But he's the grandfather of thing on here. I've told you before, which is just wild to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Those fucking servers were so tiny. I had to have been playing with him, and that was back when he was like had a normal job and like me and you, and then just one day becomes a fucking billionaire or millionaire. But here's
here.
That's right, buddy. Here's something from 2019. This is like before he even hit the pinnacle. He was he said, "I'm done with Battle Royale," essentially saying he's walking away from it. He's tired of it. But just talking about how you revolutionized gaming. But I'm sure he got nowhere near the amount of money he should have gotten from it. But like I said, it's just weird to think about that. He was just a regular ass gamer that was like, I'm gonna make this myself. Let's look up his net worth. I'm very curious. 500 million.
You should
I'd be fine with that.
Oh yeah. You should look up Tim Sweeney's and see what that is.
Oh gosh. I don't want to like say 100% he helped with that. I know there's some oh my god, 7.4 billion.
Like I said, that's definitely, you have to think about everything Epic has, but Fortnite and Battle Royale definitely boosted that.
I think Cliffy B's a little pissed.
I would think so, but he also, I mean, at that point I feel like you're getting greedy, like you said, 500 million, if you're not okay with that. I feel like that's what like kind of get into NFL territory where you're like, you're set for life, but you need more. That's at that point, who gives a shit? You're not satisfied with 500 million. You're like, oh damn, could have had 8 billion. You don't deserve 500 million.
So he started out as a modder. Then he was a fan of movies like Battle Royale and Hunger Games. He started working on a mod that could do this in kind of a first-person shooter game mode. That's crazy. Yeah, he hooked up with Daybreak Games on H1Z1, and then went to Bluehole, which is created PUBG. I don't want to say he had some. I swore there was like some craziness between him and Fortnite. Like he went over there and helped or something for a little bit. Maybe I'm just pulling that out of my ass, but I figured I'd wait till next week to correct myself, but I can't really find much on that.
Yeah,
I'll try to look up some more. Yeah, BR's a weird thing to think about. I think he was like a Nolan Bushnell or a. Is it Miyazaki? Is that the Nintendo? No, Miyazaki is a.
Yeah, Miyamoto.
So I think he's that important in gaming, but it's almost accidental, which is even crazier. I think he should be worth billions, but I would be so fucking fine with 500 million.
Oh, yeah.
I don't give a shit, dude. Yeah, go, whatever, billions, whatever. You can never spend that.
You'd have to go out of your way to spend that.
Yeah. It seems like he's just disappeared since 2019, so good for him.
I only had 2 quick things to talk about here as far as news. Most of the news was E3. If we missed anything, we'll come back to it next week. The first one is Cyberpunk is finally listed back on the PlayStation Store. And it just announced is what it says in the store. But PlayStation put out a statement that said it'll be officially back in the store and be able to be purchased June 21st. So a few more days from now. And then the other thing was the thing I sent you, the leaked pictures from the Halo TV series on Paramount. And it's just leaked pictures. I know to most people it means nothing. You obviously heard how much I love Halo, so I'm biased. but also I do love Halo, so I know it well and would criticize it. Like I love Nintendo more than a lot of people, and you hear how much I make fun of them. I was pleasantly surprised by these, even just being leaked pictures. The quality of them looks so high and looks like what I imagined Halo to look like. Even they have a picture of the Prophet, and I thought that was something that could look real fucking goofy in a live action show. And I think he looks really cool. Doesn't look like he would just in the game, but I feel like if he made him look like that in real life, it'll look super goofy. So I feel like they kept the feel of him, but made it look like it should in a live action form.
And it looks like a puppet, not CG.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look fake. I mean, saying it looks fake, but
And Master Chief's armor looks like a real thing.
yeah.
I'm going through the Twitter feed looking at some of the other photos of their CG stuff, and it's not that bad. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, this I've always been excited, and like I said, I'm a Halo fan. I've even watched some of the ones that I think get a lot of hate. And these are just leaked pictures, don't give us a whole lot to work off of. But it excites me because I don't know, there's something about even just the fact that his armor looks so clean and so detailed and what it should look like. I feel like they are actually giving the love to a Halo, not film, but whatever you want to call it.
Man, don't read the Twitter feed.
Bunch of hate.
Yeah, this looks terrible. The final product will look better, but I'm not that excited. Somebody said it sucks the Neil. Scroll back up.
The final product looks better. I'm all about that because I was surprised it looks so good.
Neil Blomkamp, directing didn't work out. He's an amazing, gritty sci-fi director. Hope it's good. Neil Blomkamp has only made one good movie. Keep him away.
I was gonna say I can get down with that. Yeah, it sucks that he didn't make it, but I also don't think he's only made one good movie, so that's where they lost me.
God, oh man. Yeah, Twitter. This is why I hate Twitter, man. God, what a cesspool. I forget what the hell I was gonna say. These damn Twitter feeds. This the lot of people in the feed are saying, doesn't matter, not canon. Someone's like, does this happen before Comet Evolved? Not canon.
Pretty sure it would be with Microsoft producing it.
Everyone in here seems pretty certain this is not canon.
Huh.
Gauss canon, right? Some guy in here, his Twitter profile picture is Master Chief.
Mm-hmm.
Username is Green Thug. That's pretty good. All he said was, looks hype.
I hope that's what they call him in the show.
Green
Where's
Thug.
the Green Thug? He comes bursting through a door.
As a Halo, if you're a Halo fan, pretty good fucking name for yourself.
That's all I had for news. That one wasn't necessarily news, just a leak, and I thought it was exciting. So we can get into media pickups if you want.
Yeah. Let's see. My mom and Peter picked up some games at a yard sale for me. Separate occasions, not yard sailing together. But my mom picked me up Army of Two, 40 Days. Went out to the yard sailing with Peter. We found Minecraft on the 360. Lego Lord of the Rings. Shouts out to Trevor. I always said I want to get all the Lord of the Rings games on the 360. Double pack for Arkham City and Arkham Knight. Battleship, which I did play back in the day, so I want to give it another go. I know it was a terrible budget title. Pirates of the Caribbean Lego on the 360. There you go, Trevor. And then we had gone to Best Buy in between conferences, and I found Bayonetta and Vanquish, which is the 10th anniversary bundle, which I wanted to buy. And for some reason, it's still like a $30, $40 game, and Best Buy had it for $16. Pointed it out, and I grabbed it. Slime Ranchers is still like a $30, $40 game. Had a coupon at GameStop, and picked up Slime Rancher, which has been on my radar for, I'm sure as you know, for literal years. So sad I missed that giveaway they did for it.
Yeah. I was surprised you didn't talk about the second one on Xbox.
Oh, yeah. I forgot all about that. But yeah, another reason I picked it up is because the sequel got announced, and the whole reason I knew about this game or looked good, the lead singer of Korn fucking loves it, and he did this whole interview about it, and which was I loved listening to him talk about games because he's not into the articles and reading. He's just like, yes, you just run around and get this goo and you throw the goo over here. And so I want to give it a try.
Okay. The only media pickup I have is also with you. I just probably a couple months ago renewed our Nintendo Online family account for a year, but Best Buy had a deal where if you buy a year of the family account on Nintendo, you get a 128 gigabyte micro SD card, and it's the Nintendo one, which they overcharged for because it had Nintendo on it. And you get it both for $40, which is the price of the family membership. So that's we just had a year that would have been perfect. This so it was like 2 years ago or 2 months ago. Jesus, running through all the different time periods. But I mean, it's not like that's not going to be useful in 2 years from now. So I might as well get it. And Danielle's needed a SD card for her Nintendo Switch. She still has the base card in there. So
I don't know how the fuck she's doing it. I barely
I
touch
know.
my Switch and I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't play Switch as much since it's hers, and because I like more on Xbox and PlayStation. But well, I guess I shouldn't say I like more Nintendo is one of my favorite things, but you guys are almost never on Nintendo, so that's the main reason. I play solo stuff a lot on Nintendo.
So it's our fault, Casey.
That's right.
Damn.
That was my only media pickup though, so we can get into what we've been playing.
Yeah. Well, Call of Duty, like I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
I finished out the season, completed it, and then my last game of the season was a W. Feels good. George W. He doesn't. You know he doesn't care about black people at all. Zero. I've been playing Scott Pilgrim.
I saw that.
Really liking it, man. Once I got past that first boss, the game got a lot easier.
Yeah.
I think that was like a filter or something, that first one, and it's enjoyable. There is frustrating where the enemies don't seem to act like you'd expect them to act, or they're inconsistent. Sometimes they completely sit still. Then out of nowhere, just throw like a huge combo, and then your guy just lays on the ground and doesn't do much to to get up, and it pisses me off. But I'm enjoying it, playing through the easiest difficulty. I'm sure I'll do a couple playthroughs, the shorter game, with different characters. I'm not sure. We'll see how burnt out I am with it. And then Knockout City, the new dodgeball game. Really hit or miss. It's fun, but I don't know if it's a talent thing or what. The servers, I'm trying to think of the term for that, skill based or whatever. I feel it's really inconsistent. Sometimes it feels like I'm just playing MLG guys and getting my ass handed to me. It just seems to be a fun game. Play a couple games here and there with friends. It's something I won't go out of my way to play. But yeah, that's all I've been playing.
Okay. Yeah, I've also been playing Knockout City, obviously, because we were playing together. I don't have anything to add because I've talked about it multiple times, besides the fact that I meant to say this last week, that, again, I feel like this is something EA doesn't get enough credit for, is that they give chances to games like this that other developers don't do, like Ubisoft are talking about how they do nothing that is original. And I feel like EA has these games consistently throughout their obvious games, like all their sports games, their Battlefields, which I guess Battlefield hasn't even been yearly for a while now. But I'm saying they're expected games. I think these games are always sprinkled throughout that, which I feel like they don't get enough credit for. And I feel like a lot of giant companies don't give games like this a chance. So I think it's cool to see. Besides that, been playing some Master Chief Collection. I always play Halo, but it's been was seen at E3. It's just got that excitement way back up. I guess that was something we didn't talk about, was that it still was supposed to come out this holiday, which a lot of people are thinking it would get delayed, and still could. But I said for like a year and a half now that I think it's coming out that day, even when it was supposed to originally come out on its last release date. So I think it's coming out this year. I did think they would announce a release date. I'm surprised they didn't do that. My only reason for thinking they aren't they haven't, I should say, is because they're waiting for Call of Duty to announce it. I would say Battlefield and Call of Duty, but now we know Battlefields. So I feel like they're trying to wait as long as they can for figuring out when Call of Duty and Battlefield are coming out. But I feel like that's going to put it in a real weird spot because Battlefield comes out in October. Is that right?
Yes.
Call of Duty is probably going to come out in November. That's probably where Halo ones come out, especially because that's the 20th anniversary. So, wondering where Halo is going to come out. But I think that's the only reason I can see they wouldn't put out the release date unless it is going to get delayed, which I hope that's not the case. Then played some NHL. Just kind of run through some of these quick because I've talked about them a lot in here. Nidhogg, which always sounds like a slur when I go say it. Gang Beast. Played some Smash Bros with you and a group of friends at E3.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that.
And then Buzz, which is a fantastic trivia game on PlayStation. I used to play it all the time. It was my go-to for hangouts like that because you can play up to 8 people, but only 4 of my buzzers are working. I figured out that I'm pretty sure it's the dongle. You need 2 dongles, and only one seems to be working. So I need to figure out a way to just get that because the game's working, all the controllers are working, but 4 of them won't connect. I feel like that's the reason. That game is instantly more fun when you have 8 people. It gets nuts.
Did you get my Xbox message?
Yeah. I didn't see it until later, though. I was hoping.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew you were hoping it would pop up. I never saw it with everybody here. Played some more Jackbox. Played some Destiny 2, and I think that's the last time I played Destiny 2, unless it's PvP, because I do think that's still fun. And it sucks because I think the core gameplay of Destiny is amazing. And I love Destiny 1. I beat it. And I played Destiny 2 again because another person I worked was like, dude, there's a campaign in there. There's a whole story. I was like, I know, but I don't know how to get to it. What do you mean? There's just a tab and you hit play through story. I'm like, I've done this with 5 people that know Destiny. They don't know Destiny then. I'll show you. We got on there, spent about 5 hours. He couldn't show me, kept making excuses. I don't know. This game's obviously not designed well, or they don't care about the story, and you guys don't either, which is okay. People like different things about different games or about games, but this is not a clear cut here, play the story, which is weird because Bungie was so about lore and story with Halo. That's weird that they've obviously branched so far off of that. But what finally did in, which I already might have before that, because I said this was another chance to get into and have somebody show me the story in the campaign, was that the game locked up because it said that I need to do this. Well, it said I need to go to this planet. So you go to this planet, and it says that you need to complete step 3 of this mission, or step 1 of this mission. And then I'm on step 3 of this mission, so I'm past that. And then when you go to do that mission, it tells you to go back to that planet. So it's just a never-ending loop of something you can't do because I'm already past that point, but it keeps telling me to do it. So it's just locked up. I even tried deleting the mission and bringing it back, and it still just takes me to step 3, and the game still thinks I'm on step 1.
Nice.
So,
that sucks, man, because I love Destiny 1 and put tons
too.
of hours into it.
Yeah, like I said, I think everything around it is the frustrating stuff. The core gameplay and the world of it seems awesome, so it really sucks. I might, if I hear something different, I might try again. But besides that, it'd be PvP, and even then, I don't know if I'll play it.
I played Destiny 2 at launch. I didn't finish the story, but I feel like at launch, there was a way to just play the story.
Yeah, these are the last person I played it with that said this has been playing it since it came out and plays it almost every day for like 7 years now. He's like, dude, they don't know what they're talking about. And then we got in there, and he's like, well, yeah, it's not here, but then, and he just made it so convoluted. And then still at the end, he's like, yeah, I guess I don't know. There should be a tab for it. I was like, oh my god, I really did this again. But besides that, played a little bit more Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Still on Mass Effect 1. I've not played nearly enough of it. And then me and Danielle play a lot more of Spyro Reignited Trilogy, which is something I want to play through and play a lot more of. And then that's it for me. So let us know what you've been playing in the comments, and then what have you been watching, buddy?
Nothing too crazy. I'm trying to think besides the E3.
Yeah.
I did start Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, did
It's
you?
on Netflix, yeah.
Okay.
I'm watching it kind of episodic, like 15 minutes here and there. And I'm trying to listen to the cues and play the games to that point, and then go watch more of the movie and vice
Okay.
versa. About a half hour into the movie now. It's good.
You like it?
I really like it. Yeah, I feel like I would
Okay.
have loved it if I would watch it when it first came out. A lot of my celebrity crushes are in there. I think almost all of them are. If Zoe Deschanel makes an appearance, then I think the whole list is complete. My ladies. Yeah, I really like it. The set designs are great. Especially his house. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I like it a lot, man.
Huh. I thought there was a slim chance you would. I just thought it'd be way too corny for you. I know that's the point of it. It's supposed to be like that, but I just thought you might see it as stupid and not what they were going for. I'm glad you liked it. I
Yeah.
really enjoy it.
Amazon has a deal right now on all the mangas too. Like, I don't know if I want to get that nerdy about it, but they're there.
Yeah.
I thought about reading them online. Reading comics online is like piracy is incredibly easy. PDFs for
Yeah,
everything.
makes sense.
But I wanted to support this guy because some guy asked on Reddit like, "How do I do this?" And they're like, "Bro, just go fucking support him." And I guess he's a really nice guy, and I'd like to support him.
Okay.
So I might read the mangas. I'm not sure yet.
Who's-
I guess I would be fine reading the manga as long as it's on my phone. But the physical mangas, like I remember the kids that would carry around mangas. I don't even think it's technically manga because he's American or Canadian.
Mhm.
But I remember the kids that carry those around. I don't want to be that fucking person that carries those around.
Who are your crushes? It's been a while since I've seen that movie. I know a couple of the girls.
The chick from Parks and Rec is there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot she was in it. See, that's all I've been. Aubrey
her.
Plaza
Aubrey Plaza, dude. She is in the Fappening as well. Could really
with
good Fappening
Mark
photos.
Wahlberg. He
Um,
sucks.
so hot. Well then I don't mind. I guess that's really the only one my true celebrity crush in there. But I feel like all of the girls in there are way too hot. You know what I'm saying? Even his sister, that the fuck is her name? She did that singing trilogy.
Oh, is Anna Kendrick in that?
Anna
Yeah, see,
Kendrick.
It's been so long since I've seen that.
Even like the main girl that he's pursuing, I think is really hot, and
That's the girl from 10 Cloverfield Lane, right?
I think so. Yeah, she's. They're just all sorry, Renee. They're just really fucking hot. I don't know. I don't know. They're just my types. That movie is just full of my types.
Brie Larson's in that too, right? Or have you not gotten
I
a
haven't-
spoiler?
I've not gotten that far, so that's gonna suck. I know she's in it though, because there's that
Yeah, I don't
famous
really.
where she sings. I think.
Sounds right. I should probably rewatch it myself.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
So yeah, Brie Larson, I think, and even if you want a physical version, they made a steelbook for it, and clearly made too many because the website that made them, it's like fucking $9 for a Blu-ray steelbook. The 4K just came out too, and that's like $20. So there's no reason not to watch it,
Yeah.
even if you want a physical version. Also, I think Brie Larson's also attractive. She's, oh my god, the virtue signaling is
Oh, yeah,
crazy.
she's annoying, but yeah.
But yeah, I'm really liking it so far. I was thinking, I was like, man, how could they make a sequel to this? Because everyone's so fucking old now. I thought maybe a reboot with new people as a TV show would be cool. Couple seasons and spread it out.
You know, it'd also be interesting.
What's that? When
Yeah,
Renee breaks up with me after? No, I'm just kidding.
if they did a cartoon in the style of the style of the video game, that'd be really
Yeah.
cool. It'd be completely different than the movie. Obviously, it'd have to be like a separate thing. I think that'd be cool.
So yeah, that's it. That's all.
It's okay. I've been watching even less because E3 took up the majority of it. The only thing I think I've watched besides random like YouTube and that kind of stuff was me and Daniel watched the first episode of Loki. People I know are freaking out about. We haven't watched the second one yet. I don't think it's bad, but I'm surprised people are so crazy about it. Unless something crazy happens in the second episode, it seemed not bad to me. So yeah, that's good. It's weird. I don't know if you know Owen Wilson's in it. That caught me off guard. And I
Oh
think
wow.
this isn't a spoiler because I've only seen the first episode and I don't know, but I feel like they're aiming him to be a bad guy, and unless he can has a lot of what do you call it, range I haven't seen. I feel like that's gonna be real weird to see him like that. But if he does it well, that'd make it even more impressive because I feel like I just know him as not a stupid guy, but either like the funny guy or like the wholesome, like good-hearted guy. So I feel like it's gonna be weird to see that if that is what it ends up being. But I know the second episode's out, so once I watch that, I'll have a better idea of what people are potentially freaking out about. But that's all I've been watching, so let us know what you've been watching in the comments. And then have you been reading/listening to any books?
No, I took a break on Jordan Peterson's book. That guy's vocabulary is way above me. I've been going back and just listening to, started with episode 0 of Defining Duke.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Going back and listening to that.
Okay.
It's fucking good so far, man. Easily the best, and this is a low bar. I feel about this, though, with their PlayStation one. I think it's the best Xbox podcast, and I think they have the best PlayStation podcast. I think they by miles, too. I don't think there's anyone that comes close.
I think PlayStation for sure. I'm not the biggest. Now you're watching or listening to Defining Duke, we can talk about more, and we can talk about more off of here, so not to go on about it, but I know you don't like Ryan McCaffrey, but I like him, and I don't like some of the rotating guests in that show, so I think that's taking it down a lot, but I listened to him when he was at OXM, so I feel like part of that's the attachment to the Xbox magazine. Yeah, the Xbox magazine and seeing how much he knows about Xbox. I think that's part of what brings down Podcast Unlocked some, is that those people are so not as knowledgeable as him. I feel like he's kind of like carrying the show and just having guests along for it.
I think it helps too with Defining Duke. They're my age, so it's fucking nice to listen to them like talk about games that I played as a kid, and they're like, oh, when I was a kid,
yeah,
and not like they were in their mid-20s, or they're a little bit more relatable.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Which is I think is a big reason why I listen to podcasts, is because I relate to the people, not
definitely
because this guy has crazy knowledge, and I don't hate him. I guess you should specify. I don't know if it's his voice or what, but
his voice is definitely very radio-y. But I think that's actually when I first started listening to XM, why I liked it, because it seemed like a radio broadcast in a podcast format, which I always liked good talk radio. So I think that's why I liked it. And I definitely, personality and how I feel about people is definitely more important. I wasn't like, oh, he's knowledgeable and the other people don't know anything, so that makes them terrible. I do like personalities. That's why I follow Colin where he goes, and follow a lot of people like that where they go. Don't just stick with the brand. But I definitely, knowledge is a big thing. Like Colin's so knowledgeable about PlayStation that I definitely think that's a big part of it as well. I think if he just did that stuff, I'd still be entertained, but there's not much actual substance here. He's just like kind of funny. Oh,
nice.
Yikes. But anything else for you?
Nope.
I started Console Wars. I'm only like 10 minutes in, so I can't obviously say anything about it yet because it'd be unfair, but I'm excited to listen to more of that because I know you liked it a lot, and I've always heard that's one of the best video game books, so I'm excited to read through it or listen through it, I guess.
I know it's long as shit, but I think it rightfully should be.
Oh, I'm okay with that, especially audio books. That's preferred because I'm getting more bang for my buck that way too, as long as it's quality.
I know one of the big complaints too is the shit that he's made up, like the personal conversations. It's based on like what the people said, and you can't have a book like that. And this guy said this, and this guy said that, and you have to have filler. Yeah, I really like that book a lot. I want to read his sequel.
Okay.
Or not a sequel. I'm sorry.
Next book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can get to reminders for free games. On 360, you have Injustice, Gods Among Us till June 30th. Xbox One, you have The King's Bird till June 30th. And Shadows Awakening till July 15th. PlayStation Plus, you have PS4, Star Wars Squadrons till July 5th. And Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown till August 2nd.
Some of the nerdiest names.
Then PS5, Operation Tango till July 5th. And then do you have any fake outrage?
No.
No, I don't this week either, sadly. I feel like the 5 black voices covered that for us. So, like I said, I'm going to be doing an extra life stream finally on June 25th at 10 a.m., which is a Friday. And then episode 2 of Pigskin Over Pizza is up. So, I'm going to watch or listen to that. And then we'll be back for this next week. And we're also going to try and do an episode of Things We Shouldn't Admit because it's been too long. So, both those should be next week as well. Anything else you want to say?